Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the mysterious death-strewn pyramids of Dungeons and Dragons.
This gets worse every week.
I
Just depressing.
I'm your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I'm joined as ever by Robbie Rumpelstiltskin Bellekom, Sam Crumping Stiltskin Burns, and Ellie Elephant Stilting Sparrow.
My own elephant on stilts, or are these like elephant stilts? Like
you
stilts made
are
of elephant?
using two elephants, one for each foot.
That sounds incredible and also upsetting.
Probably inhumane. Yeah.
No, I was thinking for me, because my legs would have to be really far apart.
You'd
have to. Ow!
Ooh.
You'd have to be doing this.
Either they're baby elephants, in which case it's even crueler. Or maybe you've got one of those old elephant castles, like a pair of elephant castles, and they're just close enough together that you can bridge the distance.
I think elephants are too big. I don't think you're going to be able to do that.
No.
Unless you were like a crazy dancer who can do, I think they're called oversplits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sounds horrifying.
I think it's called oversplits. There might be a better technical word for that, but it's basically where you go past the splits and your legs are beyond where the splits
in a sort of U shape.
Yeah.
Next week on Flintlocks and Fireballs,
Celestia do the oversplits?
I was going to say a fire giant does oversplits and a pair of mammoths, but that works too.
Called oversplits. I could be right. I feel like I'm missing a word out of that. There's something else there. There's
probably something or other.
Yeah.
In terms of here in the past, we'll get to what's happening in the present in a moment from that licentious cad future Jason. But here in the past, we've just come back.
Are you flirting with yourself? Because that's what it felt like for a moment there.
Isn't flirting with yourself tantamount to just prelude to a wank, basically? Basically what it is. Wank.
You know what? No, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this bait. Future Jason, tell me how you feel about me. You're an overly self-referential pillock and your nose is weird, but I love you anyway. Libris Arcana, our continuing sponsor, offers monthly or quarterly dice subscriptions. Head over to librisarcana.com and for less than $12, just under £9, you'll receive a set of 7 premium dice and 1 randomly selected bonus die every month to sate the will of the die-hungry beast below. This month's set is Sonic Boom! As we enter the new year, it's that time of the year to make New Year's resolutions. Those promises to yourself that you will inevitably break within the first few weeks of continued winter. Here at Flintlocks and Fireballs, we resolve to keep bringing you high-quality podcasts and middling to acceptable quality advertising copy, just as Libris Arcana resolves to continue bringing out great sets of dice every month, including the 2 unique sets later this year, Hawaiian Sunrise and Snowblind, which were funded in their Kickstarter A Year of Dice. But what other resolutions have been made? Let's take a look at this list of New Year's resolutions. From the die-hungry beast below, this year I resolve to stop my crippling dice addiction. It never works. From Fighty Gubbenswick, this year I resolve to drink, fight, sew, and be merry. From Adolf Sachs, this year I resolve to pursue my musical inclinations with all of this gold some weirdos gave me for spreading rumours. From Jimothy Buchanan, this year I resolve to make preparations for the next. From Molly Horhace, née Wheelhill, this year I resolve to spend more than 3 days with my husband, even if it kills him. From the Sculptor, this year I resolve to make beautiful art. From Alton Appleblossom, this year, I resolve to find some way off this island full of angry walruses. From Jeffrey. From Uncle Veeg. This year I resolve to stop sealing people in barrels and dropping them into the sea. I promise. From Celestia Stardust.
This year I resolve not to make any more bargains with hags.
And from Olga Gristlegums. This year I definitely resolve to make more bargains as a hag. Listen up for a spot from our friends over at One Shot Onslaught during this episode. This week on Robbie Watch is our final week on Robbie Watch. Robs has now completed her tour of Awful Auntie after a year and a half. Huzzah! After a tearful farewell to her owl puppets, this week and for several weeks to come, Robbie will be headed back to her home in Private Town, None Your Business show. Farewell, Awful Auntie, and now Robs can get on with some much needed rest. And with that, it's back to you, past Jason, you cad. Okay, so that was a lot more frank and honest than I expected.
Yeah.
I felt kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's a can of worms you really don't want to be opening.
No.
Okay, well that's all going to the fanfic
we've
writers.
learnt something. Yeah, enjoy that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, if one of you writes a fanfic of Jason with his future self, I think I'll physically explode, to be honest.
I feel
I'm
like
not sure what
there's
I'll
a
do.
scene like that in the Time Traveler's Wife. Anyway, so moving aside...
There is, that happens, he bums himself.
I need to watch this.
It's not in the film, I don't think.
It's not in the film. The film is very clean compared to the book.
Yeah.
Then
I mean,
will
the
read
book,
that
they
book.
only touch on it briefly, but it does happen.
I mean, it feels like one of those things you have to do when encountering your future self.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And which you're going to feel so fucking weird about when you encounter your
I feel like
past
his
self.
dad walks in and he has to explain this. I feel like that happens.
Wow. Yeah, there's...
I swear that was a thing.
I'm not thinking any deeper
Time
about
Traveler's
that.
wife is actually pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are less fucked up than the Traveller's Wife, multiple horse transformations notwithstanding, we just came off last week from guesting at the Celtic Adequate live show.
We did. We missed Robbie, but it was
We missed
amazing.
Robbie, sadly, yes.
Yeah, we would like to thank them for having us.
Robbie was off in Plymouth.
Robbie was off in Plymouth doing a show.
But no, thank you very much, Celtic Adequate.
Yes, and if you haven't listened to them yet and you like comedy improv, you'll really enjoy them. They're a very different style to us, but they are great fun. Lots of hilarious capers. They are brilliant. The podcast is really good. You should totally listen to it.
Indeed.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time this episode is out, their episodes that cover the live show should be out.
Yeah, oh yeah, we should say that. They did actually record it, and it will be coming out as 2 1-hour specials, so you will be able to listen to it, and frankly, you'll be able to listen to our live show, but you'll also be able to get an idea of what they're like as a podcast, and maybe check that out too. So,
Yes.
all
Which
the
is
good
lovely.
things. Yeah.
Unless, of course, that hasn't happened and future Jason has poo-pooed on this whole idea ahead of time.
Oh.
Hey, future Jason here. Unfortunately, the episodes from the Celtic Adequate live show have not yet been released in podcast form. Stay tuned. We'll alert you as soon as we know. Back to you.
Also, do check out the other people that were there were people from the Rusty Quill, who are another very, very good UK gaming podcast.
Awesome.
Again, do they do Pathfinder? I think they're
They do
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Yes,
they do
they're
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Also,
she was very
fantastic.
confused about the lack of reflex saves.
Yeah. But yeah, Sam's been listening to them for years. They're great. And also, if you live in London, a lady from another group called Adventurers Wanted was there. They do not do a podcast, but they do monthly live D&D shows of an ongoing campaign, and they also do monthly live one-shots as sort of improv gigs. So if you're around London, definitely look up Adventurers Wanted. They are on Twitter as Adventurers250. Because I'm the producer and I know everybody's Twitter handles.
Woo! Good for you.
I'm glad somebody does.
I know all of them. It's got to that point where I can genuinely remember all of them. But yeah, so they're great too, and you should definitely check them out. And yeah, it was a great time.
All right. Well, on that particular bombshell then, it's time to begin Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains, brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm, or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously, on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party, having been stranded in the great forest of Meadmere and made their way into a mysterious, ancient, ruined city, bypassing the great bronze colossus of a guardian and the strange, repeating rhythms of the dead outside, the party ascended, well, let's be blunt here, directly flew up to the apex of the central pyramid of this city, bypassing what would no doubt have been a series of trials and challenges.
Sorry.
Don't you just love it when the players subvert your carefully laid plans?
Well, especially when you design the dungeons before they get the flight spell. That's all right. And arrived at the very apex of the pyramid, descending down and discovering more and more hints as to the previous expeditions, plural, that had penetrated into the depths of the pyramid. Descending down to the lowest level they could reach, the party found a series of fragments of a diary belonging to someone who would once have been a member of the Syrian army, a spellcaster, a mage, who it seemed had found something that had driven him mad. Arriving in the throne room, they encountered the massively obese form of Ascidian, the one living inhabitant of the pyramid, still commanding the obedience of all of those who had come before, still dressed in a now massively expanded red coat from his old officer's corps, bedecked out in gold and jewels looted from the pyramid, and some from, it would seem, a previous treasure hoard that had been piled here, and busy stuffing his face with pine nuts, cooked roots, and pine nut moonshine. This distinctive orc also bore one unique piece of jewellery, a tiny 1-inch silvery skull embedded into his forehead. While parleying, so to speak, with this entity, two of the party were brought under an enchantment and forced to obey his will. While both were able to break out, Scamp took the time to prepare and gather what energies they could in order to try and assist breaking them free, while launching what might well be their last fireball of the day, incinerating one of the remaining expeditionaries near the throne, damaging two more, but it seems only lightly crisping Ascidian.
Ew.
With that in mind, can I ask everybody to roll initiative?
Oh god, it's so horrifying when you start a session with this. Oh, that's
No,
really
I don't.
good.
Right, there you go.
That's really 22, bitch.
Oh.
18.
21.
Wow, Corzin got the lowest initiative. That never happened.
Yeah, this
I
is
rolled a
unusual.
19. That's really good for me.
That's really good. What did you get, Corzin?
18.
Fucking hell. Party's going first, apart from Fighty, he rolled a 6.
Oh, Fighty.
Still though, so just to lay things out, I will most likely put a copy of this very simple map in the notes for this episode in the description. You'll especially on the episode description on the website and most likely and in social media as well. However, for you, the players, you have your own little diagrammatic version of this. But to describe what the set out of the room is, the room itself is about 60 feet long by 40 feet wide. There are 6 pillars supporting the arched roof, each of which bears some manner of trap. The two furthest back near Ascidian's raised throne have very open spiked pit traps immediately in front of them. The two that are midway along the room have strange glyphs, the nature of which you are not yet sure, and the two closest also bear glyphs, having stepped stepped right in front of one of them, Corzin. The glyph activated and caused you to have basically a small aneurysm. Similar to the trap that you'd found upstairs. There are also two surviving expeditionaries, old orcish redcoats, their grey animated bodies still serving Ascidian, and four of the human, or at least humanoid, it's kind of hard to tell their original race, ancient legionaries who are standing with long sword and shield and and have just now begun to respond to Ascidian's will. Alright, so first up, Celestia, you are closest to Ascidian, being on the lower end of the steps away from his throne, just out of range of the fireball.
And I've just turned away, shaking my head because I was trying to shake the charm off.
Yes, which you've just managed to do.
Okay, so I'm going to turn back, look him in the eye, and I'm going to say, "You do not tell me what to do." And I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers at level 3.
Nice.
Wisdom save. That is a 16.
What's my spell save? My spell save, I believe, is 16. So what does that mean?
That's a narrow success then, I'm afraid.
Okay, that's all right. It's still quite a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check. So that is 5d6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's really good, actually. So 10, 18, 22. So half to 11, but still not bad.
11 points of damage to Ascidian.
And then we discussed that it's a bonus action to drink a potion, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I would like to drink a potion of fire breathing.
Okay, as you say these words,
So she goes, "Fuck it," and just
you see
uncorks the
Ascidian
bottle.
kind of flinch at the words, but he just but he smirks. It's going to take more than that to down him. That said, as you knock back the gelatinous orange potion, it's like an alchemist decided to perfectly preserve and then concentrate the essence of Scotch bonnets.
Wow.
It burns the whole way down.
I don't break eye contact. I'm really disturbing.
Okay. All right. Next up will be Scamp. However, Ascidian is going to take his first legendary action. And he is going to, let's say, "There's no need to be so feisty. Why don't you back off?" This is a wisdom save. It is a type of charm effect, so you have advantage on resistance.
That was dropped,
That
does not count. I flung it out of my hand by mistake. Oh, that's really good. Fuck you, 17.
Okay, you feel your legs try to move you away, but you resist and stay in position.
I stick a finger up at him.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Okay, that's his first legendary action this turn. Scamp.
He's within 60 feet, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Everything is.
Everything is. It's not that big a room. Right.
I mean, the only thing which is arguably 65 feet away is the door, which you can't actually see from where you are, because it's slightly concealed by the throne itself. You'd need to move to the side of the room or behind the throne to get a good look at the door, as there is a large door concealed behind the throne. Celestia, you have not suggested that you are looking at the door, so I'm not giving you a description of it yet.
No, I'm busy.
Cool.
I would like to... Oh, I don't think this is going to work. Let's try a Phantasmal Force then. On him.
Okay. So this is an
last
intelligence
one.
saving throw.
Yeah.
That was a natural 3.
Yes!
Yes!
I would like the skull on his forehead to glow white hot.
Yeah, okay. You see his brow furrow, and he's kind of jiggling about in his throne, uncomfortable, trying to do what he can to shrug off the effect. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so he is currently under the effects of Phantasmal Force.
I don't think I've got anything I can do with my bonus action right now.
He needs to move 10 feet away from that to escape its effects. The Cedian has
Yeah.
a speed of 0.
0.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I think
so
he
fat
actually
he
has...
can't
No,
move.
technically he has a speed of 5 feet. He can move 5 feet per round.
If he thinks it'll do him any good.
If he thinks it will do him any good.
From moving away from something on his head.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to do? You have movement,
I-
you have bonus still.
Trying to think if there's anywhere more useful I can stand. There isn't really. So I don't want to look at these things. I think I want to head towards the door at the back, but not getting too close to anyone.
Okay.
Is there a way I can sort of get a bit of cover from the pillars without looking at them?
Yeah, you can...
It's
I'd say
avoiding
give...
these
This is
buggers,
almost
isn't it?
a... what would this be? I would call it a... almost... just a straight... call it a perception check to try and not look at a thing. Okay.
10.
That's all you need to get. It's not. You know where it is. You just, you're running past this pillar,
Okay.
trying not to. So we'll say you move up towards the western edge of the room. If we imagine that the door is at the north, and you're currently taking some cover behind the middle western pillar. You emphatically do not look at the image scribed upon it. Okay, from there you can see the door, just about. It's recessed in, and there are markings on it. And the door itself is almost perfectly jet black. But because you've seen a lot of it recently, you can kind of recognise what this is. Unlike the spirally kind of Damascene sort of patterns that you've seen before of frankly, adamantine, this door almost looks to be made from a single pure black crystal of the stuff. It is possibly the purest form any of you would have ever seen. There are also markings on it, one set of which are in white paint, one of which has been scratched on in chalk. The set in white paint are in Infernal, and you're able to read it. And it bears a message reading, "This is the furthest I came, and I felt this was adequate to hold my hoard. Tread no further. You will not find anything that will help you beyond, and I considered it imprudent to proceed." And above that, in Jovan, which you can all read, is scrawled, "Only death beyond."
Right, maybe I won't open that door just yet.
Maybe not.
Just so you're
Just
properly
yet.
informed.
Ooh.
So,
Oh dear.
do you have anything you want to do with your bonus action?
No, there's nothing I can do.
Cool. All right. That means it's time for legendary action, actually. Ascidian is going to raise one fat, beringed finger and point it at you, Scamp,
Ah,
and then point to the pillar. Look. Roll me a wisdom save.
I'm going to use Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
Yes.
That definitely didn't help. That's a 7.
You find yourself forced. Find yourself forced to obey the command and look at the glyph, which surges with pinkish light Give me a wisdom save, please.
18.
Okay,
Couldn't have gotten that on the other one.
you feel your perceptions begin to twist and surge, reminding you a lot of that time you stared into the portal back in the fabric factory. But recognizing this feeling for what it is, you shut down those instincts to keep looking and just pull yourself away. The light continues to flash for a few moments before fading. You are not, however, currently looking at the glyph. So, congratulations, you successfully resisted that.
Yay!
Okay, that would make it Corzin's go.
Alright. By the looks of things, Corzin is quite near to one of these undead legionary things.
Yes.
Okay. Corzin is going to take out one of his 2 remaining vials of holy water and attempt to throw it at this this legionary.
Nice. Give me a... I mean, you're basically right next to it, I think. So you can...
okay. Well, if it's if I'm within melee range of it, then I'm going to attempt to attack it with one of my swords and use essentially the vial of holy water as like my offhand attack.
Yeah, no, happily. Give me 2, because you're level 5 now. Give me 2 attacks with death and then 1 attack with the holy water, which is just a dex plus proficiency.
Okay, so the first one is an 18.
Hits.
And the second one is a 12.
Also, no, sorry, that one doesn't hit. He, although the first one slashes, the second one he manages to bring the shield into play.
Fair enough.
Bounces off it.
Okay, and now with the holy water, that's +6 again. So natural 20.
Oh,
With the
thanks. With the holy water.
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay,
do you want me to roll the damage for the holy water first?
Yeah, give me the holy water first, please.
So excited.
Okay, so that's 2d6 radiant damage.
Yep.
Fuck! Snake eyes.
Oh.
Oh, that's really sad.
You do a total of I think it would be
4?
Yeah, 4 damage with the radiant.
4 radiant damage.
Oh, nothing sadder on the 20, is there, than minimal damage? Ugh.
Alright, no, well, I'm still going to roll the
as
damage.
As the holy water splashes just a little bit onto its forearm, you see it sizzle and burn, and pieces of flesh slough away.
Okay, now the damage for the first sword attack.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Okay, and the second one?
I thought the second one didn't hit.
Oh, it didn't. You're right. So you slash. You slash once. You manage to cut. Again, you go for a hamstring cut, and you slash out one of the tendons. But this thing is not incapacitated by pain. It's still limping on one leg. Even as the splash of holy water, although most of it is taken by the shield, does begin to melt through its forearm.
Okay, and I am presuming that as I have already basically been forced to look into the glyphs on the pillar that's nearest me, I'm deliberately not looking in its direction. Yeah,
you know where it is. You don't need to make a save to avoid looking at it unless something forces you to try and look at it again.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Okay, that's all of your actions. So, the end of the turn, Ascidian is going to use his 3rd legendary action for the round.
Did Fighty
go? No. Fighty rolled a 6.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'm sorry, I'm getting confused.
Fighty will go eventually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Sorry, end of your round, of your turn rather than end of the round.
No, I switched out the words turn and round in my head. That's what was happening. Ignore me. Carry on.
So, you at the end of the round, you see as Corzin finishes his exchange, you see Ascidian raise both of his hands, like, stop fucking about and get a move on. And as he claps his hands together, all 6 of the the 2 expeditionaries are going to stay at the back, but the 4 legionaries all get a sudden burst of movement. So 2 of the 2 legionaries on the western edge of the room both rush up towards Scamp. The 2 that are on the actually no, it wouldn't be. You're the less threatening target. One of them rushes to Scamp. One is going to rush to Fighty. One rushes to Corzin, and one rushes to Celestia. 1 on everyone. That doesn't actually give them an attack as well. It just lets them use their movement. But it is the expeditionaries next.
They also get 5 temporary hit points. It sounds a lot like your mantle of
They don't get 5 temporary hit points. They don't get that. I will say. But yeah, he does have that is a special ability of his. Okay, so the 2 expeditionaries are going to act based on who they've seen do things. They're going to take pot shots at Scamp and Celestia respectively. So Scamp is...
Have I got any cover from where I am? Or
you have half cover because you're using the
so let's
pellet.
add 5 to armor class?
No, 2.
2,
it's half
that's
cover.
3/4 cover.
3/4 is 5.
Sorry.
So yeah, you've got which is probably wouldn't have hit anyway because that was a 13. So the musket shot splinters into the pillar. The second one goes for Celestia. That was a natural 3. Fires up, cracks into the arch ceiling.
Great.
There are 2 small puffs of smoke from where they out of the ends of their barrels. The legionaries are going to act next. Each one is going to attack someone. So, because Fighty rolled low. So legionary against Scamp first. They get, and their legionaries are up close. No, they don't get doubles, but I should make sure they gang up in future. So the one against Scamp and the one against Celestia don't have advantage. The ones next to Fighty and Corzin do because they are next to each other and they get their Legion bonus. So Scamp first. Nope, that was a 12. Celestia again. Nope, that was an 8. And then it's time. So attack against Fighty first. Fighty's not had time to rage yet, but that was a 15. And Fighty. You see as the legionnaire swings his longsword, well, sort of gladius. So it actually would be stabbing. Stabs his sword at Fighty. You see the jet black gloves Fighty has seem to ripple a little, and he does kind of the Matrix bend, where you just sort of pull backwards, almost inhumanly fast.
That's awesome.
The one against Corzin, so that's with advantage. Okay, that was a 15 to hit Corzin.
Just hits.
Okay, this one, however, the one that you've actually injured, manages to get a successful stab in. 10 points of stabbing damage, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maximum. Happen to roll an 8. Okay, that's the legionary's turn. Fighty's up next. Fighty is going to rage.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, see, I think you can pick on me because you're bigger than me, do you? So he is, let's take a couple of Droog attacks. How reckless is he feeling? Not reckless yet. We'll do these actually, they got advantage to attack him anyway. Fuck it, let's be reckless. So that was a natural 18 for one of those. And a critical hit for the other. Okay!
Oh!
Fighty's
woken up.
Yeah, Fighty's woken up. Still on full hit points as well. So first attack 5 from the Droog. Second attack double becomes 10. 15 points of damage to him. Thwack, thwack. He cracks the Legionnaire once in each knee and brings it down to its knees for further attacking. Okay. Finally, and appropriately, Ascidian goes last.
That takes 1d6 damage.
Yep, roll 1d6 damage.
4.
Excellent.
And he thinks it's burning, but it's psychic.
Okay, 15 damage total to Ascidian thus far. So, well, actually, it's slightly more than that because he also took 14. He took 14 last time, so it's actually I'll update that. So it's 29 against his total hit points. Okay, you watch as Ascidian kind of shrugs and rubs at it, but not enough. He's not going to resist that just yet. Now then, there's no need for all of this rushing about. And as he says that, his voice begins to sort of echo a little bit around the room. He can affect 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he can just get fighty. No, he can just get all of you. All right. As he says this, you feel the air in the room seem to grow thick, like you're trying to move through treacle. Everybody needs to make a wisdom save. This you do not have.
It's not a charm,
This is not a charm effect.
Advice when making characters: don't make wisdom a dump stat.
15?
That is
11.
the save.
Yes.
That is not the save. Corzin?
11.
Also not, and fighting! No! Fighting has a wisdom of 7. Okay, so, Celestia, you are the only person who's not affected by this.
I mean, that's a fucking plot twist, let's
Yep.
be honest.
The rest of you, however, are slowed.
Oh, actually, that's a 16, sorry. With
Okay,
my,
you're
I
definitely
forget,
safe.
yeah, sorry.
So the rest of you, however, that you are slowed. Your speed is halved. Your armor class is reduced by 2.
Oh, shit.
As are your dex saves. You have no reactions. You may take an action or a bonus action, but not both. And you can only take 1 melee or ranged attack per turn, regardless of how many you would normally take. At the end of each turn, you can make another wisdom save to break free. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that right now. That is literally all he can do. So, Celestia, top of the round.
So am I right in thinking that his throne is a big stone thing with arms?
Yep.
It's got arms.
Yeah, it's got
the important
arms.
bit. Okay, cool.
Which he's kind of resting on.
Cool. So I'm going to look at him and go, just going to sit there in your throne and talk, are we? And then I'm going to jump onto the throne,
Okay.
like with both of my feet on the arms. I like to think for a split second he's at eye level with the codpiece, like exactly.
Yeah.
Just looking at the big letter C on my crotch. And then I would like to grab him by the lapels, lean in and breathe fire into his face.
Oh!
Nice.
So just lean and go, "Ah!" and just like breathe fire at him. I don't know what the damage is. I'm so sorry.
it's
I
all right.
apparently didn't write it down, so please
I've got
help.
it here. So
Cool.
this, from memory, I
It's a
believe it's
DC
3d6.
13 dex save.
Thank you.
So
I've
fucking
got that
cool.
written down.
Yeah, I think it's 3d6. Let me just get the exact stats up. So potions. Yes, this is potions. Potions of fire breathing. 4d6.
Amazing.
Okay, so let's make a dex save.
Yes.
You are shitting me.
What?
Natural 20.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you are kidding me.
He did this on the bloody fireball as well, didn't he? Not quite that good, but it was good enough.
Asshole.
It still takes half damage.
Good.
Seriously, this guy has a -3 on his dex saves. How fucking lucky is he?
I mean, it's alright.
I think you rolled a 19 last time.
Yeah.
Okay, well that is hang on, I can't add up, a 16, so 8.
Still takes 8 points of damage.
I'm gonna stay where I am, actually.
He just manages, like, he can't move out of the way, but with, like, just whether it's luck or just a little bit more speed than you expected him to have, he grabs one of the silver platters and brings it up directly in front of his face, so that although the blast of fire is mostly directed off to the sides, he still has to drop it as his hands are burned from the heat. Okay, that, and you, let me just double check. It's a bonus action for you to do that, so you still have your action.
Seriously?
Slow?
Yes!
Yeah, but she's not affected by
Slow
it.
is the only person. Celestia is the
slow.
only person who is not
Oh, right.
slow.
Oh, she saved it.
Oh shit! That's a
does he
point.
need
You
concentration check?
that's concentration check. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called.
Makes it sadly.
So I can still do a thing.
You can still do a
That's
thing.
hilarious.
Shove a rapier down his throat.
I'm deciding. There are so many things I could do right now. Oh, piss it. Ooh,
Break that concentration.
I am going to... I mean, are you going to allow me to knock the tray out of his hand? Or
Oh yeah, totally. You can do that as part of your action. Technically, I think he's already dropped. He's halfway
dropped
through
it 'cause
dropping the
it's
tray
red
anyway, so you can just kick it out of his lap.
I'm gonna knock the tray out of his lap, and I'm gonna go. Yeah, you can't get away, can you? You sad fuck. And I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers at level 3 because fuck it.
Oh yes.
Hey, fell one.
Yes, thank fuck for that. Okay, let me just check how many
Okay.
d6 this is. I know it's d6s, but just give me a minute. So that's 5d6. Okay, let's hope I roll well. 2, 3, 4. Where's my other one?
More concentration save.
I mean, yeah, that's like one of the major things, really, isn't it? If we want to get him to
Yes,
break
please.
his concentration. Oh, we might. That's really good damage. Okay, so 11, 16, 22.
Oh. Okay, let's make that. As you say that, he just furrows his brow, and like it's as if the burning sensation he's getting from the skull is accelerating. You see him kind of claw at it for a moment. As he does so, he digs deep scratches into his own flesh, which run thick with red blood. Fucking! Oh, what is this? Okay.
Celestia goes, oh, does it hurt? Still with him by the lapels, looking him in the eye.
Okay. Let's do this then. That's the end of your turn.
Did he make the concentration save? Sorry, I got distracted.
Oh, you got concentration again, so this is
no
versus
spell.
DC 11. Okay, as he's scratching out his own face, you see him struggling, trying to maintain control, and you see just a little wisp of something, Celestia, like a silvery something, escape the skull in his head for a moment before being pulled back in. But as it does so, the rest of you feel the tar-like sense of the air suddenly vanish. You can move your limbs again.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Concentration broken.
Excellent.
Nice.
You're
All
the
right.
best.
Okay, yeah, he is going... Yeah, he's pissed off. So he's like, come now. You can still use your... You didn't really use your movement on that, so you still have it. Okay.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, this
Okay,
is a thing
okay.
he's aware of. I'm
Okay.
thinking of for him. He's going to go... Now then. You are very difficult. Why don't you go? And he looks down at one of the pillar nearest to you. Look at that. Roll a wisdom save. Mm-hmm. This is technically
this
charm
charm?
effect, so you have
Okay,
advantage.
cool. So, elf things. Oh shit, that's really bad. That's a 9.
Okay, that's
This is
not
going to
enough.
come back to bite me.
You feel your legs moving as you hop off the dais to the nearest so this is the eastern central pillar that you head to. The Legionnaire. Okay, and you find yourself looking at the glyph there, which flashes with brilliant purple light. Roll me a wisdom save. You do not have advantage on this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's bad, guys. It's a 9.
How bad?
Okay, you feel the glyph almost seem to burn itself in your vision as you turn looking around. Everything... You feel what can best be described as aphasia, a sensation that you can't... There are faces, the room is full of people. You can't tell who those people are. You can't attach identities to individual figures.
They're just figures.
They're just figures. You know that somewhere, one of those figures is Scamp, one of those figures is Corzin, one of them is Fighty. But you can't remember if Fighty is a tall, grey-skinned legionnaire if Scamp is a fat man sitting on a throne, or if a Cedian is a small...
Sorry, I'm picturing Scamp as a fat person on
Yeah.
the phone.
or if a
having
Cedian is a tiny, well-dressed gnome.
Okay.
Yeah. You are under an effect which will take action on your turn.
Cool.
Okay. So this.
So I am currently by the top right pillar, yeah?
By the middle right.
The middle one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Just know
So Scamp, you're up next.
I am in melee.
Oh, by the way,
with someone,
Scamp,
aren't I?
roll a d100.
Oh no. Oh dear. Okay. 95.
95. That sounds familiar.
What is that? Yeah.
The higher ones are usually quite bad, aren't they?
It varies.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
okay. You all feel a strange... all creatures within 30 feet of you...
I
Because
was near one of the pillars.
You're near one of the
wasn't I? Where am I?
pillars... Ah, shit. So that is... Well, that's weird. Okay, so that's
I was
basically...
near the western pillar, was it?
Yeah, you're the western pillar. So it's
Yeah.
you, the Legionnaire next to you... I think just a Cedian, one of the expeditionaries, the Legionnaire by Fighty and Fighty, but not Celestia because you were moved out of the way,
Good.
all gain vulnerability to piercing damage for the next minute.
For fuck's
You
sake.
take everything that was affected takes double damage from anything that would do piercing damage. So rapiers, short swords, stabbing weapons.
Great.
Yes, that's it. What would you like to do?
Do I know that? How much awareness do I have? Of this?
You have an awareness that you feel that your flesh feels weirdly spongy, and as you
Ew.
look around, you get the strange instinct that everyone, all those people I just mentioned, also they're reacting weirdly, like they've all just like, oh, what the fuck, kind of motions, and you get the sensation that they're getting the same feeling that maybe it's not a good idea to get stabbed by anything.
More than usual.
Yeah, more than
More than usual.
I have nothing with which to stab people that I'm any good with, so that's not really helpful to me in any way.
So, sorry, it's vulnerability, not invulnerability.
Vulnerability. You take
vulnerability.
double
So
damage.
double damage.
All those
So
people
I don't know
mentioned
why I heard invulnerability and got very
take
confused.
double
Well,
damage from piercing.
Not that I would know that in character,
but not
but
percussive,
you know.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's got it against swords. That's good. Well, rapiers. Okay, I'm in melee with someone, aren't I?
You are. Yep, you are within 5 feet of one of the legionaries.
I will shock and grasp him then.
Nice.
Okay. Melee spell attack. Oh, that's a 1.
Ah, shit.
I mean, there's not really any. Oh no, there is. Okay, you
It's
try
touch.
and slash.
So
Yeah, you try and
Yes.
grab him, but you slip. You trip over your own tail, and you
Ow.
smack your hand into the glyph on the pillar.
Oh, good.
Fucking
no.
hell.
Roll a d100 at this point.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh no.
74.
We've had that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's convenient.
Oh no.
You watch as a Cedian suddenly, as the glyph suddenly explodes, and a pulse of what can only be described as magic bursts out of it. A Cedian suddenly begins vomiting up pine nuts. He is poisoned for the.
Did I do that?
He is poisoned for the next. Let's find out how many hours.
I mean, if he lives for more than an hour, we're in
2
trouble,
hours.
So.
Yes.
That was
Yeah,
lucky.
something desperately bad has happened if he's alive for more than an hour.
And hopefully we've run away from it.
God, yeah.
So disadvantage on attacks and ability checks, because he's going to be doing so many of those.
Yeah,
Actually, no, he has disadvantage on the investigation check to try and shrug off the
True.
fucking phantasm.
Good.
Okay, make a note of that. Poisoned.
Well,
Oh, that was lucky.
that's everything I can do.
And that glyph is now deactivated.
Although, I want to move around the guy I'm in melee with just to put myself away from his allies somewhat.
Okay, I guess you're kind of... You could try and move up closer towards the far end where the door is.
Yeah.
Okay, you move probably about 10 feet.
Try and get a little bit of cover from at least one of those.
Okay, you move
guys.
10 feet, so you're taking cover.
But I don't want to go out of melee. I don't want to get attack of opportunity.
Okay.
I'm just moving around the guy.
Yeah, you're near the pit, but you're not quite able to get to the next pillar, unfortunately.
Oh no, that guy would take a hit at me if I did.
Yeah, so you're actually out of cover, unfortunately, at that point. But
oh bugger. Oh well.
She can do. Okay, so end of your turn. The Ascidian is sort of gestures down at you. You just move over there, and he points at the pit trap next to you. Roll a wisdom save.
Tides of Chaos.
Tides of Chaos again.
Oh yay!
Nice.
11.
Oh shit!
Okay,
I'm not wise.
you find yourself, you find your legs thrusting you towards the pit. Roll a dex save.
4.
Oh shit!
Okay, you slip and fall into the pit of spikes.
Ouch.
So this is... Oh, fuck! Piercing damage. Some of this is piercing damage.
Oh shit.
Okay, so you take nine. So that's 9 points of just falling damage, and then the piercing damage. How many hit points do you have left?
I'm on
Curiosity?
36.
That's a good thing you are, because you are now on... Yep, that would be doubled to 8. You are now on 8. You take 28 points of damage because of vulnerability to piercing.
Ooh.
You took
Fucking
14
hell.
points of damage and it just doubled. As you feel that
Okay.
sponginess as several spikes go into you.
And rather miraculously, I'm still concentrating.
Oh my god! Well done.
Because I rolled a
That's
19
hardcore.
on my con save.
Yeah.
That's impressive, actually. After that.
I've
Yeah.
done that on the wisdom save.
Okay.
Actually, it still wouldn't have been enough on the wisdom because I have a very good con save.
Yeah, you have a lot of constitution, don't you?
Okay.
And not much else, apparently.
Oh.
So that's Corzin's go next.
Okay. Given that there are 2 legionnaires in close proximity to me, can I maneuver myself so as I could get both of them in a spray shot, a grape
Easily.
shot from the blunderbuss?
Yeah, one will take 3d6, one will take 2d6.
Okay, happily. Okay, so they both have to make a dexterity save, DC 14.
Okay. Both succeeds. They take half damage, unfortunately.
Okay, so I'll roll these one at a time.
Mhm.
First one. 6. Second one. 1.
7.
Third one. 6. Okay. So
Okay.
13 halved to 6, I guess.
Yeah, so it's 1 takes 3, 1 takes 6. That'll be them. Okay.
Just
They
wanna
both
check
managed-
for future reference. Me taking damage from like the glyphs and the pits and stuff doesn't count. Is it coming from a creature? Does it? Even though I was compelled to do
Not
it.
directly, no.
No, cool.
No,
Just
no.
checking.
No. This is a bit of an environment fight.
Oh, for rebuke, are you thinking?
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Oh,
so
that's annoying. It's not quite right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sorry, I completely blanked there. Okay, so you blast both of them, but they both managed to bring their shields up in time to catch most of the scatter shot. You still actually have a bonus action and your movement because you are not slowed. The CD's
Okay.
concentration is broken at the start of the turn.
Alright, now... DM's discretion if I am able to do this as a bonus action,
Okay.
but could I lob one of my bombs the other side of them?
No, because the rule is you need it.
I need two hands. Yeah, no, you're absolutely
then
right.
You can't use it as an offhand.
All right. In which case, then, I can't move away from them because I'd get an opportunity attack. No, I'm just going to have to hunker down.
Okay. All right. So that makes it. Can you benefit from moving anyone into better positions? Not really. All right. So Assyrian is going to. Yeah, he's going to. He's not going to waste an action. He's going to look at you, Corzin, and then at the blunderbuss you have, and just call. You there. Throw. Roll a wisdom save.
Oh, that'll be an 11.
Okay, you feel compelled to throw the blunderbuss. It doesn't. He didn't do it. You have discretion on where you throw it.
I'm gonna throw it behind me,
Okay.
so like towards the door we entered the chamber from.
It bounces against the wall. It is kind of just 5 feet behind you and on the floor.
Yeah, I mean it's unloaded anyway. It would take an action to reload, so it's not the end of the world. I'd have probably just had to drop it anyway.
Yeah, he was just mostly trying to disarm you. Okay, so that makes it expeditionaries go. Yeah, seeing the shit that's just been going on. Okay, one expeditionary is going to actually right next to the pit, just fires down into it. That's a 14 to hit. Arguably, the pit does give you half cover. That's a 14
anyway.
Sorry, I said 14. That was actually 17.
Right.
I don't know
won't
what.
help.
That was 13 plus 4. So that will just hit you, unfortunately.
Would they be prone? Them having fallen into the pit.
Strictly speaking, yes, you would be. So I'll roll that with disadvantage. Okay, that misses.
Just
Okay.
a thought.
Thank you. Good thought.
Yep, excellent thought.
I hadn't thought it.
No, me neither.
The other one is going to take a shot at Celestia. So that's a 16.
Yeah, it hits.
Hits. Okay, Celestia, you take 8 points of percussive damage as Scamp, causing an enemy, shoots you.
Okay.
It's not really clear who. Okay. Then it's legionaries go. Unfortunately, being prone does mean that the legionary directly above you, Scamp, probably going to attack.
Pit? I thought it was deeper than that.
Yeah, well, it's actually quite a deep pit, so he kind of has to, like, what would he do? I guess he'd probably throw a javelin with disadvantage,
Oh, good.
which was a natural 2. The javelin smacks into the side of the pit and falls on you, but like
How
just,
deep is
just
the
a hand.
pit? Just for future.
The pit is 10 foot deep.
10 feet deep. Okay.
So the that makes it other legionary time. One next to Celestia is going to attack you, Celestia. That was a natural 19.
Definitely hits.
Yep. Okay, you take 4 points of stabbing damage. One against Fighty. Attacking with advantage. That was a 16. That is Fighty's armor class, so that hits. This is doubled, so he takes 10 points of damage, halved back to 5. Because Fighty is enraged.
Oh yeah, shit, of course he's still raging, isn't
Yeah,
he?
Fighty is a tough motherfucker. The one attacking Corzin does so with advantage. That, however, was only a 14. And I believe your AC is 15, so it stabs at you, but you duck out of the way. Alright then. So, that makes it Fighty's go. No prizes for guessing what Fighty's going to do. 2 Droog attacks and a knife. Natural 20.
Yes!
Nice.
That was a 12, which is not enough. Third attack with the knife, however, that's plus 5. That just hits. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, 2 of those attacks go in. So the Droog is 8 plus 4, 12 points of damage. The knife
Don't forget it critted.
that was including
Oh,
the crit.
cool.
So 12 plus 7. Yeah, okay, so Fighty takes the Legionnaire and having already kind of hit him in the kneecaps to bring him down, he uses the Droog to pull his, to catch the edge of his armour, pulls him close, and using one of his knives, he takes advantage of his soft, spongy flesh and proceeds to stab through the creature's skull repeatedly until its brain is mushed, and then pulls its head off. It flops to the ground.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Okay, so that one's out of the fight.
Fighty is not your cute sort of gnome.
Yeah.
No.
That's how Fighty likes to fight. Okay, Acedian takes 1d6 damage.
Okay, that is 4 again on a different dice.
Okay.
Many fours.
16 points of damage thus far. Okay, he's going to use another of these because he's got a few of them, and says, "I said, you can all slow down. There's no need to fight me." Scamp, you are outside the range, but Celestia, Corzin, and Fighty, do you have to make wisdom
Is it a
saves?
charm?
Not charm. This is a slow effect again.
Cool. Oh, I'm not doing well all of a sudden. That's an 8. I'm confused and slow.
12.
Okay, Celestia, Fighty, and Corzin are all slowed. And he already used all of his movements. Damn! That would have been a fine time for Acedian to use one of his... never mind. So that's Acedian's turn over. So that brings us to the top of the round. Celestia, the way this works, make a wisdom... actually, the first time this would be... So the first... you make 2 saves, one at the end of the round, which is a wisdom save to try and shrug this off. But at the start of the round, give me an intelligence saving throw, please.
Okay.
To try and work out who's an ally and who's not.
10. God.
You know, even with people are shooting at each other, there are stabbing going on, but you can't work out who's a friend and who's not just from that. So, if you take any hostile action, you will need to roll randomly to determine its target.
Okay, this is a strange question, but do I have any memory of where I was, before the spell, or am I too confused to even know that?
No, you know all of that, but you cannot... You know all of that, but also that's part of the intelligence saving throw.
Yeah, totally.
Out. So you, for the purposes of this, you aren't together enough to realise that Acedian must be the person on the throne.
Mm.
Yeah, the spell has blocked off the part of your brain that allows you to make those those judgments.
Okay.
Clearly, it's just identity based.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I would do.
Yeah, there are 7 possible targets. 8 possible targets.
How many are near me?
There is 1 that is within 5 feet of you. The rest are all either...
Because that I would know, wouldn't I?
Yeah, there's 1 within 5 feet of you. 1, 2, 3. 3 are within 15 feet. 2 are 20 feet away. And then, but you can reach... And the other 3 are basically 25 to 30 feet away.
Okay. I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay.
I've just shook my head to try and shake off the spell effect and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked.
No, not during this round.
I'm going to get extremely frustrated and go and do a thunder wave.
Okay. So
nice.
This affects... okay, there are, as I said...
Within 15 feet.
Yep, there are a number of targets you can hit within 15 feet.
I haven't moved.
You
so
haven't
it's
moved, but you can hit
although
3 targets in one, or 2 targets in another. Or 1 target. Or 3 targets in another. So this essentially comes down to a coin toss.
Okay.
Roll me a d6 and tell me if the number is odd or even.
Cool. Odd.
Okay. The 3 of you watch as Celestia, struggling, unable to figure out what's happening, turns...
I don't think I watch a great deal lying on my
I
back.
feel like I almost do it by accident.
Yeah.
Like I'm just
those of you who can see her turn north and not south and release a thunder wave upon the Legionnaire, Ascidian, and one of the Expeditionaries.
Thank fuck. That was pure luck.
Yeah, because the other one would have been Legionnaire, Fighty, and Corzin.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
that's a con save.
Yeah, con saves from all.
And it's only level 1 because that's all I've got. So I will roll damage.
So success for the Legionary.
Ice cream D8 come through for me.
Failure
Oh, it did. It rolled an 8.
Ascidian, despite his Constitution +5. And failure for the Expeditionary. So how much damage?
10. Thank you, Ice Cream Dice, for the 8. Love you.
Okay, so that's 10 damage to Ascidian, 5 damage to the Legionary, and 10 to the Expeditionary.
They are pushed 10 feet away from me.
Okay.
If they're near, I guess, so maybe not, because none of them were.
Well, if they're within, the Expeditionary is pushed backwards 10 feet, so he's now at the very end of the room. Give me an Arcana check to see if you can summon enough force to actually push Ascidian's throne off. Because
that would be so good.
Because he can't.
Well, not if he moves him out of my
legs in the air though.
force.
That'd be fucking brilliant. I'm
that
sorry.
would be hilarious.
It would be really good.
Backwards.
Come on. 12.
No,
Probably
it's not quite enough. This is, he is blasted into the chair, but you know it's a heavy stone throne. It's not. It doesn't fall over just
It's
from
so
that.
funny. Little tubby feet in the air.
It would be brilliant.
No, I needed a 15 or better. I think.
No,
for that.
fair, yeah.
It's
a big fucking throne.
It's a heavy throne.
Yeah.
So no.
God, can you imagine it all wobbling like the flab rippling from the thunder wave?
Oh yeah.
Oh, like somebody skydiving kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like what your face does.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a beautiful and horrible image. I love it.
just like the rolls of it almost going over his face. No. Right.
And then I need to make another save, don't I?
Now you make a wisdom save to try and shrug off the effect entirely.
And it's not charm.
This is not charm.
Cool. I didn't think so, but just to double check. 14.
That's not quite enough.
Fuck it.
Powerful spell. It's literally just not quite enough. So you are still under the effects of aphasia. All right. Not going to take the legendary action on this turn. So Scamp, you are up next.
Lying at the bottom of a pit.
You're lying at the bottom of a pit. There are several things in you.
Can I see from here? Because some people have been shooting down at me, haven't they?
Yeah, you can see the Expeditionary and the Legionnaire above.
Have either of them taken much damage?
No, these are the two members of this entire combat who have not taken any damage.
Great.
Oh, I mean, the Expeditionary has actually. He was caught in the initial fireball that opens the fight.
Okay, I guess I will shoot something up at him. Then I'll throw a firebolt at him.
And because we're in the mood for this, because this is such a ridiculously high stakes situation, as you do so, roll me a d100.
Fuck you.
I'm going to pick some different ones this time.
Just keep.
Because I have so many, I might as well. 99. Jesus, some of these are really high.
Okay, first of all, roll the attack for the firebolt, and I'll explain what happens in a moment.
Oh no, what is it?
It's just a straight... I'm going to have to stand up, otherwise it's disadvantage,
Yeah.
aren't I? Okay, well, I'll stand up. Oh, that's not going to hit. That's a 10.
The firebolt strikes up and splashes harmlessly into the stone roof, but as you're standing up, you feel a surge of power within you and a voice in the back of your mind. Keep it together. We've got this. And as this happens, you just feel something renewed within you. You regain all of your sorcery points.
That's so good. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Nearly makes up for the 28 points of damage.
You still have your bonus action because you were not caught in the slow effect.
I'm going
And
to
I guess
down
half
a
of your
potion
movement.
because I super need it.
Okay. Down one of the potions.
Is there anywhere I can get any cover from these guys, or are they just going to be...
I mean, arguably you can kind of press yourself up against the side of the pit and get cover from one of them. So, like, take your pick.
But if I lie down again, they have disadvantage against me, don't they?
Yes. There are a lot of spikes down here.
Yeah.
So that might be a slightly precarious process.
I regain 7 hit points from my potion.
Okay.
I'll try and get a bit of cover from one of them. Which one's going to be more dangerous?
Expeditionary is the one with the musket. Legionnaire only has javelins.
Yeah, I'll avoid the expeditionary.
Okay. Going to the side. Alright then, so, end of that round, that turn. Let's move on to... Actually, yeah, just because he's got what weapons out? Fuck it. Acidian's going to try and cause some trouble and calls to... nope, can't make you do a command that is an actively attacking a companion. Never mind then. He is going to... no, there's basically nothing he can do there to really assist. So he's not going to spend a legendary action. Okay, Corzin, over to you.
Okay. Corzin is still slowed, is he not?
You are still slowed. You can only take 1 attack this round. There is a legionary in front of you, fighting beside you, who is also slowed.
Okay, I'm going to attack the legionary in front of me then.
Okay. Roll your attack.
That's 16 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
Okay. Okay, that's 8 slashing damage.
Oh, nice. Not quite enough to kill him, however. So as you slice in through this around the side of the shield, you leave a deep score, and one of his arms just sort of sinks slightly. You can tell you've cut something structurally important there. Not
Nice.
quite enough to completely disable it, though. All right. You have 12 and a half feet of movement. Call it 10 feet of movement because you round down if you want to use it.
And 12 and a half is just
Okay.
annoying.
Yeah.
If it's possible, I'm just going to maneuver myself so that only this legionary is capable of melee attacking me.
There are no other legionaries around.
Oh
Fighty
yeah, of
killed
course,
the
because
other
Fighty took the other one out. In which case, I'm trying to get. I'll try and maneuver myself so that he is between myself and Fighty.
Okay, you do so. All right, Expeditionary is going to fight. Expeditionary is going to attack with disadvantage. No, it's not with disadvantage. It's just with you just have cover against him. Against Scamp, which is good because that would have been. Oh no, nope, that's still enough to hit. Sorry. Okay. You Scamp. You take 9 points of percussive damage.
Okay. Hellish Rebuke.
And Hellish Rebuke.
Hit.
Yep, fails that. Roll damage.
What? Hang on, I hate to do this, but are they slowed?
Slow. He can choose who it slows.
Scamp's not. Scamp's down.
Scamp's not
hit.
slowed.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, very similar things. Okay, so that's 17.
Nice, and yeah, that's just enough. Okay, so as the bullet strikes down and impacts you in the shoulder, a sort of twist of flames bursts out of the wound, impacts the expeditionary, and causes him to pretty much just immolate.
Hit.
He struggles for a few moments, writhing around before slipping, falling into the pit, and being impaled, flaming, on the remaining spikes.
Oh shit! I failed the concentration check though. Rolled an 8.
Okay. Phantasmal Force.
Bugger.
Winks out, the burning sensation stops. He didn't even need to get a cream for it.
Oh god.
He really likes that skull though. That was a lot of damage and he didn't even think about getting rid of it.
Yeah.
He had other priorities, like trying to slow you all.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was first expeditionary's go. Second expeditionary is going to attack Celestia. Nope, that's a miss.
Ooh.
Smashes into one of the pillars. Legionnaire's time. Legionnaire is going to throw down a javelin at you, Scamp. That is a 17, so that hits. would hit even without the cover. That's the wrong die. You take 5 damage, but you're still susceptible to You're still vulnerable to piercing.
Yeah, so I'm down.
Okay.
Oh no.
Shit.
Scamp goes down. Scamp will cover something on your turn, depending on how things look. Okay, so Scamp is down. The Legionnaire next to fighting Corzin is going to... How injured are you? Broadly, how injured are you looking, Corzin?
Pretty bad.
Okay, yeah, then he'll attack you preferentially. Natural 19.
Hits.
Yep. You take... you are not squidgy and vulnerable, which is good. You still take 7 points of damage, however, from the Legionary stab.
Okay! I'm on 1 hit point, guys.
Fucking hell.
No. Whew, okay.
This is extremely stressful.
Yep, Fighty has a healing potion, if need be. Okay, that's... Oh no, and there's still one next to... who moves up next to Celestia and is going to attack her. And that's a miss.
Good.
Stabs and slide out of the way of this unknowable figure attacking you. Fighty time! Fighty is just going to bear down on this guy. With everything he knows.
Sorry, my mistake. I have 4 hit points.
Hey!
Oh, good.
That's a lot more survivable.
Okay.
You can survive the attacks by a commoner, maybe.
Single punch and everything's fine, as long as they're not very strong.
Little Corzin could potentially take me down at this point.
That's
You're
a
into
16 with the
kitten
Droog,
headbutt
which is
territory.
enough to hit. So that's 1 hit with the Droog. Second hit also with the Droog. At that point, I think I should just roll the damage. Okay, well, the first hit with the Droog just... Oh, he's slowed. He only gets 1 attack.
Yes.
It's still enough. Although he's kind of moving like tar, you see Fighty kind of slowly reach out, grab the Legionnaire by the back of his tunic, pull him down, and then plant the hooked edge of the Droog straight in the back of his skull.
Nice.
And then slowly tug him all the way down to the ground. Okay, Legionnaire is out of the fight. Fighty is going to move... he normally has 35 feet of movement, so he gets 15 feet. He is going to move up to the Legionnaire, which is currently attacking Celestia.
Yeah, Corzin's going to say, "Thank you for that."
But for both of you, because your perception of time is a little bit slowed as well, it sounds just entirely normal. As Fighty calls back, oh, that's fine. You just go, that's fine. In fact, Scamp is unconscious, so no one is perceiving this weird slowdown of time.
And I'm probably not, because I'm fucking confused as shit.
Okay.
Well, for our audience, you're welcome.
Okay, Cedian is going to, now that he's in a position to do this, he's going to look at Fighty, because it's his action, and he's going to say, "Oh, now, we can all be friends. Please, put down your weapon." So Charm, Fighty has advantage to resist, because this is a combat situation. Fuck you, Fighty. That was a natural 2 and a natural 1.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
Fighty is now charmed. Doesn't make him immediately hostile to you, but he's now regarding Cedian in a friendly manner. He gets wisdom. He gets to resist. He gets another check at the end of his turns. Okay, top of the round. Celestia, make an intelligence saving throw to try and distinguish friend from foe.
People are down. This really needs to work. Oh! It's a fucking 19.
Okay, it's not the effect is not shrugged off, but this round you can use logic to try to determine correctly who is who.
Can I see Scamp being down?
You know that Scamp fell in. That's someone who you've identified now to probably be Scamp. Went into a pit. There was a flame out of it, and then you heard a gasp after a javelin was thrown in. So you would guess that Scamp is down.
Is that enough for me to do
That
a
is
healing
enough for
word,
you
or
to-
is that a bit rich?
No, that's enough for you to guess that Scamp is at least very injured, if not down.
It's within 60 feet, so
Yep.
I can. This
Yep.
is my last spell, guys.
And
Okay.
you're still
Got one
slowed, so you
fairy
get
fire.
it. So yeah, you get a bonus action or
That's fine,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll
an action.
So I will ding on my xylophone and Scamp. Let me just see what you get. 1 sec. So you get 8.
Okay. Scamp, you are back up.
Lovely.
Okay, so that that makes it Scamp's go, which means you are up on this round. So
Okay,
something could happen isn't going to.
I didn't roll my save to see if I shrug it off.
Oh, you didn't.
I will do
Roll
that.
that.
Sorry. It's a natural one.
Okay, no. There's aphasia is still riding your skull.
How far away from the throne am I?
You are probably about because of the height difference. You're 20 feet away.
Ignoring height.
Ignoring height.
Yeah.
Ignoring height, you are about you're like 10 feet away as the crow flies. If the crow is at the same altitude.
I don't know how long I've been unconscious. This is going to be a gamble because I don't know where my friends are, do I? Can I tell at all where anyone is?
Make a perception check.
Yeah. 6. Not really.
Not really. You just have you can only make guesses. You remember where they were when you went in, but that's the best guess you have.
Okay. And I can still see one of these buggers on top.
You can still see the Legionnaire directly above you. Yeah.
Okay, how far is the Legionnaire from the throne, approximately?
He's about 15 feet. Probably 20, though, if you allow for climbing steps.
And how high is the ceiling?
The ceiling is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the ceiling's probably about 40 feet at its highest point. This is quite a big arched. 40 feet is actually a bit ridiculous. It would be 30 feet at its highest point.
Okay, so in a 20-foot radius sphere, I could get the guy above me and the throne, and myself.
Yes.
Then I will convert 5 sorcery points into a spell.
Amazing.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
That's a bonus action.
Yep.
And I will cast Fireball.
Yes.
Okay, let's roll some dex saves. So, Legionnaire fails. Expeditionary fails. Come on.
Didn't I kill one of them already?
There is another one on the other side.
Another one I can't
on
see.
the other side that you can't see that is actually within range for this. And Ascidian with a -3 fails.
Yes.
Lovely.
Fucking lost.
He's concentrating on slow, isn't he?
Sorry?
He's still concentrating, isn't he?
Yes, he
Is
is.
the charm not a concentration?
No, he is a special.
That's horrifying.
Also, charm generally isn't a concentration. It affects you for 1 hour.
Probably just. Oh god, that's horrifying then.
Yeah.
So that is 20.
But if you're in combat, you get saved.
Oh, I rolled 4 5s. That's nice.
Oh.
20. That's 30.
30. Okay, so.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
okay.
a really good roll.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
You, the three of you watch as a sort of pea of golden light springs up out of this pit. The Legionnaire is blasted into apart, smacks into the wall, crumbling. The Expeditionary is it just turns to ashes, and Ascidian sets on fire.
Brilliant.
One would imagine he burns well.
Yeah, he's going up like.
Oh god, if he's
like
covered
a tallow
with
candle.
pine vomit.
Yeah, like a tallow candle. Oh god, he's covered in pine vomit. That's a fair point.
Pine's super flammable.
Yeah, go on, roll me an extra 2d6 onto that.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's nice that it's something for the poisons. Oh, that's an extra 9.
Okay, still an extra 9.
That's pretty good on 2d6, actually.
Yeah, he is on fire, screaming, just sort of "Ah! Ah! Ah!" screaming. Not dead.
Concentration check?
But yeah, one hell of a concentration, so that's 15 he has to beat.
Fair.
Nope, even with his +5 to Constitution, that is a fail.
Lovely.
Everyone
No longer
suddenly
slowed.
feels their limbs relax.
And can I say to friend, I've got some rope. Could you tie it around that pillar and let it down?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
And yeah, Scamp acts on your turn. Friend acts on your turn and is able to pick up the rope, move up there, tie it loosely. Give me a straight D20 for just so I know what, so I can make a guess as to his friend's
Not
tying ability.
12. Not great. Not terrible.
You hope friend has done a good knot. You can't see it from here, but.
I'm still lying on the floor from being unconscious.
But a length of rope does flop down into the pit. Do you still have movement actually? So
I'm not gonna move.
okay, you're staying here.
I'm
Cool.
gonna stay here.
Yep. All right. Is there anything he can do to save himself, to help in this situation? He's still alive. Okay, so there's one Legionnaire alive and a Sedian.
Okay.
Kill the fucker.
Okay.
Guys, I love fireballs so much.
Fireballs are so great.
Okay, he's going to call to the remaining Legionnaire. Up here, defend me! And the Legionnaire is going to pull. He's going to use his slide action, his movement action, to move the Legionnaire, ignoring attacks of opportunity, up to so that he's directly in front of Asedian to serve as a sort of undead human shield. It's the best he can do. Okay, that makes it Corzin's go. Corzin, you have all of your ability to move back.
Sweet. Okay. So Corzin, even with the Legionnaire standing in front of him, can Corzin still see behind the Legionnaire to where he is?
You can still see where Asedian is. I'll say the Legionnaire is granting him cover.
Fair enough. That's fine. I'm gonna move as far towards him as I can, and I'm going to use an ability that I've not used before.
Excellent.
I'm going to use my action and I don't use a spell slot for this, to use Hunter's Sense.
Okay.
Provided he's within 60 feet of me, I immediately learn whether he has any damage immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and what they are.
Okay.
If he's hidden from divination magic, I can't tell anything, but I can use this a number of times equal to my wisdom modifier, which is 2. That's my action. As a bonus action, I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on him.
Okay, he is marked. You know that he has one vulnerability, which is piercing damage.
Right, okay.
No other resistances. No other vulnerabilities.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's just
Fair enough.
got a lot of he's got a lot of layers to get through.
Okay, well, I think that's all I can really do this round. But knowing that, would the sling do piercing damage?
Sling does bludgeoning, I'm afraid.
Okay, no, fair enough.
You need darts or knives or something.
Well, I'm guessing within the next round, if I have all of my movement back, I can actually get to him anyway.
Yeah. Which is true, so you don't really have movement. Okay, so that's fine.
Are you still charmed by him?
You're not
No, I'm
charmed
not
by him.
charmed by
Fighty
him.
was the one who's
Yeah,
charmed.
Fighty was charmed by him. Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
I got distracted being unconscious.
Okay. Alright, Expeditionaries are dead. Legionary is going to attack. Oh, he does actually have an ally within 5 feet of him, so he gets to use that. He's going to attack Corzin.
Okay.
That was a 17.
Okay, that
plus.
hits.
That hits.
Fuck.
You take
Oh, you're down, aren't you?
6 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. Just manages to just basically stabs you in the side of the ribs.
Shit.
You slump to the ground. Okay. That makes it. Yep, Legionary's got no other actions he can do. Makes it.
I suppose the Hunter's Mark disappears. Bugger.
Fighties go. and he's going to... Well, actually, just before fighties go, legendary action, he's going to call... Ascidian calls to fighty. Restrain! And looks to Celestia. Fighty's going to move in for a bear hug.
Okay, what do I do?
You roll an acrobatics or athletics check to resist.
Definitely acrobatics.
Fighty is raging, so he's still...
Oh, that's a 7. Bollocks.
Okay, Fighty grabs you in a bear hug, and you are restrained. Well, technically you're grappled, actually.
How far away from Ascidian am I, just for future reference?
You are probably about 20... I'd say it would take 20 feet to get to him, but 15 feet in a direct line, because height.
Cool, good to know.
Yeah. Because you'd have to kind of do an L shape to get up. So let's call that... So yeah, you are grappled. Your speed is 0. That's the only effect that grappled has.
Cool, good to know.
But it does stop you getting close.
And it's like an action to break the grapple, isn't it?
Yes.
Awesome.
Let's roll at the end of this to see if Fighty breaks the charm. Fighty does not break the charm. He's going to continue holding you. Okay. Ascidian is going to call out this time to you, Celestia. Really, there's no need to fight. You can just relax. Give up. This is a charm effect. Wisdom save with advantage.
That's a 13. That's not going to be enough.
You feel the urge to fight kind of leave you. Like maybe this could all be resolved without combat. You are currently charmed.
Cool.
Which brings it to the top of your turn. You are charmed, so you consider Ascidian a friendly figure.
But isn't it combat, so I get a save?
You get a save at the end of
At the end of my check. Cool. I didn't
Speaking of saves, give me an intelligence saving throw to see if you can work out who is friend
That's
and
off the
foe.
table, it doesn't count.
It's all right.
Excuse the bad noises, listeners. That's a 19.
Okay, you are able to ascertain friend from foe. You know where everyone is, who everyone is.
Okay,
The restriction is that you cannot do harmful actions to Ascidian.
right. What about the Legionnaire? Where's he?
Legionnaire's right in front of Ascidian. So you can make attacks that would not... Charm effects are just about smart enough that you can't attack the Legionnaire in the hopes that splash damage will hit Ascidian.
But can I breathe fire at the Legionnaire?
But you can totally breathe fire at the Legionnaire, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go...
Time for some dex
and
saves.
breathe fire at him. Because in my head you have to roar to breathe fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
that's how that
Absolutely.
works.
Oh, that's definitely the case.
That was a failed save.
Okay, so
Roll
it's 46 we discussed, didn't we?
This is your second of 3
Yes,
fire
I know.
deaths.
I was going to say,
Well,
like, how many do you get?
that's not that good. It's really not. So that is 5, 9, and 46. That is bollocks. I rolled 2 1s.
No, he's still got a fair bit of fight left in him, this one, unfortunately. But as it does strike the shield, you can see as it sets part of his clothing on fire, he has to sort of pat himself out. It leaves deep burns where it passes. Okay.
Do I get a
That's just your bonus, isn't it?
action? Do
That
I
is
get
just your
anything
bonus.
else?
You're
Got
right.
an action.
You've got an action.
The fuck else can I do?
Can you try
I'm
and break the grapple?
restrained, aren't I? I mean,
You're restrained.
Can I try and break the grapple as my action?
Yeah, you can. You can try and
Because I
break free
think
from
everything
fighting.
else that I could do, I would need to like throw something or move.
Yeah.
Which logically, if I'm grappled, doesn't.
You
make
can
sense.
throw. Fighting only prevents you from moving out of your space.
He's probably just grabbing you around the legs because that's all he can
Literally,
reach.
he's like holding you by the knees.
I mean, can I shoot the Legionnaire?
Yeah, totally can.
Like assuming my pistol's at my hip where it usually is.
Yeah, but you take disadvantage for you take disadvantage because Fighty is within 5 feet of you, and for the purposes of this, he is interfering with your ability to shoot straight.
Okay. Or is it worth trying to break the grapple? I think I'm going to take a shot. Fuck it.
Okay.
See what happens. Fucking hell, it's terrible, guys. That's a 10.
Okay, not a natural one, so your gun doesn't explode,
No,
which is
it's
good.
not.
But no, it's bangs into the Legionnaire's shield. Okay, that's the end of your turn. So, Scamp.
I want to get out of the pit if I can.
Okay, it's 10 feet, so takes 20 feet of your movement to climb out. You've still got 10 feet of movement at the top.
Okay,
So you could get to maybe the bottom of the stairs.
I want to try and get to Corzin if he's down.
That is at the bottom of the stairs, so...
Okay, let's go there.
Oh, we forgot to do my intelligence save again.
Do your wisdom save again to break free of the aphasia. You're right.
Wisdom?
Oh, two wisdom saves. One for the
I did one
aphasia.
at the start.
You do the intelligence save to work out who is who.
Yeah.
What do you mean? One wisdom save straight
For the aphasia.
for the aphasia.
And then one with advantage for the
For the
charm.
charm.
Cool. So this is for the aphasia.
Yeah.
So 4.
Yeah, still don't
Fucking
know
hell.
who's who.
Jesus. And this is for the charm. And that is an 18. So the
Okay,
charm's
you have
gone.
broken the charm.
Nice.
So Sue's going to go, fuck you!
I can tell you're going to be difficult. Oh, this hurts. Yeah, CD is still on fire. Okay, so
I can get to Corzin.
you can get to Corzin.
I think we need to get him up. I'm going to feed him my other potion.
Okay.
That's an action, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's have some d4s. Oh, that's terrible. That's 6 hit points for you.
Jesus.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Bonus actions, nothing. Nope. Nope, nothing I can do. That's all my movement.
Corzin then, because I don't think. I mean, no, you've used up your movement. Can't use it on you. All right. So the Corzin next.
Okay, Corzin is going to blearily shake his head, come to stand up, and he's going to use his last level 1 spell slot to recast Hunter's Mark on a Cedian.
Mm-hmm.
And am I close enough that... Actually, no, I'm not in melee range of him, am I?
No, you're in melee range with the Legionnaire, but the Legionnaire is blocking melee access to a Cedian.
Right, so functionally speaking, if I try and shoot at him, I'm going to have to shoot as if I'm shooting at... with at least half cover, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Disadvantage if you're in melee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not in melee. I'm
No,
not
but you have an
quite
opponent
close.
within
the-
5 feet of you.
Oh, okay.
You've got someone in melee.
Right, in which case then I will just try and cut through the remaining legionary and get to him.
Okay.
So yeah, Corzin, having got to his feet immediately from death's door, brings out his cutlasses again and starts hacking away at this thing's legs.
Roll your attacks.
Okay, that's a 21 for the first
Hits.
one. I'll roll damage for that. Okay, that's 7 slashing.
So you slash down, you cut one of it, you actually manage to do a deep cut beneath the kneecap and it drops to one knee.
Okay. That being the case... oh yeah, that's a 22. Okay.
That hits, roll damage.
So with the with it down on one knee, I'm gonna try and stab my my other cutlass up through its jaw.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's 10.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay, you stab it up through the jaw. Just piercing the brain isn't enough to kill this thing, but it does give you enough leverage to be able to tug, twist, and wrench the skull and the fractured neck, already somewhat damaged from previous attacks, neck off. And that seems to be enough to cause its body to, twitching and jerking, slump to the ground.
Halflings don't go down that easily.
Okay, Legionnaire is down. It's just a Cedian left now. And Fighty.
Oh.
Okay, he's going to give a command to Fighty. Which is going to combine this with with what he already has. So looks to you, points to Fighty, still on fire, says he's patting himself out with one hand, then to the pit trap to the north east. Drag! Celestia, give me... This would be an opposed athletics or acrobatics check to Fighty.
Acrobatics, please. Shit. What's his?
20.
Oh,
Not
13.
natural. He drags you over to the pit. Roll a dexterity save.
Shit. Okay. 9. Oh, no.
And sort of vaguely bleary-eyed releases you just as you get to the edge. You windmill your arms for a moment and then...
Ooh.
Okay.
How much is that?
It's painful.
A lot, probably.
It's a lot. You take 1, 2, 3. Where's my other D10?
Oh, I'm gonna die.
14
Oh, I'm down
points
by 2.
of damage from spikes and falling.
I don't suppose anyone has any healing left, do they?
Yeah, that's a good
If I can
question.
get to
Let's
you.
make a wisdom save for Fighty. We can give him advantage now. Finally, Fighty
He's got the health potion.
breaks free. What the fuck? Fighty doesn't have any actions left, frustratingly. But because he used his action to drag you. Actually, is that an action? No, dragging it just half movement with a grapple.
That'd be movement.
Ah, shit! But he doesn't uncharm until the end of his turn, so he still got his action, which he just wastes, we'll say, because he wouldn't really use it on anything else. Mind you, no, you're still his friend, so the charm wouldn't counteract that. Fuck it! Fighty jumps in. Is going to try and jump. Is going to make an acrobatics check and see if he can jump into this pit without impaling himself.
Go on. He's a crazy motherfucker.
Which he can.
Good.
He still takes the falling damage.
Because if
Which is
Fighty
half.
impaled himself next to your unconscious form, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still takes 2 points of damage. Leaps down and uses his action to feed you this last healing potion.
Amazing. How much do I get?
You get 2d4 plus 2. You get 7 points of healing back.
Okay.
And you and Fighty are now at the bottom of a 10-foot pit
Good.
full of spikes.
Is it the same pit that's got the rope?
No, it's the other pit.
Okay.
It's the ropeless pit. Okay.
So much rope though. I'm gonna get rid of
Yeah. Okay, it's Ascidian's go. Ascidian's going to look at you, Scamp. And who's more useful, Scamp or Corzin? Corzin's more useful. And go, listen, I'm sure we can talk all of this out. Wisdom save.
Okay.
He's still on fire.
Still on fire. He's not taking
Bloody
additional
hell.
damage. This is just including the previous. Sorry, the previous
That's
damage.
a 15. 15 wisdom save.
That is just enough.
Oh,
You are not charmed by this man.
Alright.
It's hard to be charmed by a flaming figure who has repeatedly caused injury and insult to you.
covered
Wait
in
enough
his
for
own
that
vomit.
bullshit.
Covered in flaming vomit. It's not a charming image.
No.
No, it's really
Yeah,
not.
it's really not good.
Celestia,
Oh god.
roll me a wisdom. Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Shit, yeah. Fucking
You're
hell.
still.
I mean, if she lost
Oh
consciousness...
god. Actually, I did lose consciousness. Does that change anything?
Shit.
Like, genuinely. That's
Just
a
a
good
thought.
point.
No, because it would still affect you. I will give you advantage on the save because of the loss of consciousness, because it broke everything.
Okay.
We'll say that would make sense.
It's
But
just, yeah, I thought spells usually ended when people went unconscious. Do they not?
when the caster goes
depends.
unconscious, usually.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, cool. That's what I'm thinking of. Oh, well, that's good. So what save is it? Intelligence?
Yeah.
That's an 18.
Okay, that is
actually.
enough that when you blearily wake up, you do recognise that the person in the pit with you is Fighty.
I'm going to try and get out the pit.
Yeah, you don't have any rope or anything, so give me an athletics check.
Fuck it. That's a 14.
That's just enough. You leap up, grab the lip, and pull yourself out. Uses half your... Actually, it's 10 foot. Use it 20 feet of your movement.
Okay.
So you've got 10 feet left. You are not... You're kind of in a position where if you were able to fly, you could get to a CDN in 10 feet.
Am I within 30 feet?
Yes, you are.
I'd like to breathe fire at him.
That works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Roll damage. Let's roll a dex save. That was a natural one.
Yes!
Yes.
-2.
Take him down.
Rolled a -2.
Oh, guys. That's one of the best things I've ever rolled. I'm not going to lie. That's so good. Okay, so that's 12, 18, 23
Get
on
in.
4d6.
Oh!
Wow.
I rolled 3 6s and a 5.
That's incredible.
Take a picture of that.
So, in the eternal words of Mortal Kombat, finish him.
So, I like to think I take a big fucking breath in. I look him dead in the eye, we have a moment of eye contact, and I go, and I breathe fire at him, and his throne fucking falls backwards, and the blubber, as he hits the floor, just goes...
Okay, as you
And it's
exhale
fucking
your
magnificent.
last breath, giving you the worst throat burn you've ever had, the flame comes out. It's kind of been a smoky orange most of the point this time, but it comes out as a straight Bunsen burner blue.
Yes.
Nice.
Hits the already flaming pine scented vomit on him, and just something seems to catch, and there are like just the remains of the pine moonshine, and there is a... It's enough that the throne, already weakened and cracking from the previous thunder wave, from the 2 fireballs which have hit it, it's
Jesus.
just enough that
I've cast so many fireballs
And
without
the-
a long rest.
So
It's
many.
implausible.
and just the strain of supporting his weight for so many years finally cracks, and the whole and throne and all, he tumbles back off the dais and smashes into the ground, splattering.
Ah.
And you just hear this... "Ah!"
If he still has a face, I would like to go over and stamp on it a few times.
Nice.
You-
Ellie, please draw this.
Yes.
You step forward into the flaming mass as well, that is all that remains of a seed, and you can just see the kind of glassy-eyed fixture of his head still vaguely connected to the remnants of his neck and exploded torso. It's kind of reminiscent of that scene from Meaning of Life, but with more fire.
Oh.
You just raise your
God.
foot and crunch. You splinter and shatter his skull. The tiny silver skull flies free in the explosion and lands by your feet, Scamp.
Celestia just kind of standing there with a foot full of dead man, like breathing heavily.
I'm gonna pick up the skull.
As you pick it up, there's a strange resonance. The moment you touch it, like warmth. Like you found something you lost long ago. Like an old childhood toy or a friend or a picture of a friend or something. You kind of feel it. But there's also a strangeness to it. As you touch it, you can feel just waves of not quite sickness, and not quite tiredness, but almost apathy. Like there's just something about it that seems to radiate complacency. You hear once again the voice of friend in the back of your mind. There we are. There we are.
What is it? What does it do?
It holds something twisted by long exposure to someone who was unworthy, and not so much unworthy, but not strong enough, not made of the right stuff to bear it. None of the others could use this safely, could hold it. They're not like you, Scamp.
Is it safe for me?
It's very possibly you and I are the only people it is safe for.
Why?
It doesn't matter which of us takes it. You would benefit from this. But it needs to be mastered by someone who can, or it will try to take over someone else.
I won't end up like him, will I?
No, not you. No, you're strong enough to be its master. The draw
I don't
on
want to
it.
be anyone's master. That's...
Forgive me, my previous master had a difficult vocabulary. Let's say that you possess within you what's needed to make it a part of you without it taking over you.
You sure?
Or I could. One or either of us could.
Well, if there's a risk, I'd rather I took it.
Spend some time with it. You'll need to rest to focus on it, but...
I need to rest. I got impaled right here.
Yes,
and here.
let's...
And here.
Yeah.
Oh, and there too.
Yeah, I think that would be best. But you can feel it, can't you? The sense of completeness.
Yes.
That's what we came for. And I promise you, that will make all of this worthwhile.
Nearly got everyone killed, though.
That's what becomes of them when those they weren't meant for take them.
Let's have a sit down.
Yes, let's. And you hear from the pit, I don't suppose someone could lend me a rope or something.
Rope, yes. Yeah, I've got so much rope. I have an implausible amount of rope on me.
You let down a rope and, with some effort, fish out Fighty Gubbenswick. And the three of you walk over to where Celestia is still standing, I would imagine.
I do not like fucking charm effects.
No, I think I'm with you on that one.
Well, he's dead now, and by the look of the paste you've made, he's staying dead.
Yep. That's
Well,
one
would
dead
bloody well
fucker.
hope so.
Celestia's gonna spit on what's left of him.
It sizzles in the flaming pine vomit.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to put you in danger. Or worse.
They taught us how to shake off charm effects in what they call the Ebon Guard up here. They used to make us lick everybody's boots clean until we could shake it off.
Oh.
Took ages the first few times.
That must have been humiliating.
Yeah, it's bullshit. But it's alright. This one's dead, so let's... What do we do now?
You said what they call the Ebon Guard up here. What do they call it down below?
We were just Unit 37. We never had any more name than that.
Alright, well, I reckon that... actually, point of order. Have the glyphs gone now?
No, the glyphs do not seem to have been tied to Asedian's life force. One of them is exploded and gone.
Okay.
The others are still there. You get the feeling that they're quite short-ranged. Unless you look at them directly, they won't go off, however.
Should we go have a sit down in that last room?
Yeah, let's do
Not
that.
here.
No, I don't want to be here. Let's be somewhere
It
else.
smells really bad.
It really does. It smells like burning fat man.
And leaving the flaming fat man, the various corpses, the door, and the obscene quantities of treasure until after
Just for
until
sure.
after you've rested.
We're coming back for that.
Yeah, Corzin says to himself, "This is why I never went whaling."
Oh.
Oh. You head over into the room with the many comfortable things and settle down for a good, long rest. And that is where we will pick up after these, no doubt important, messages. And now a word from our friends over at One Shot Onslaught.
Hey everyone, it's your Dungeon Master Adam here to tell you all about One Shot Onslaught. We are an actual play D&D 5e podcast, and we even follow some of the rules.
Rules? No one said there'd be rules.
We play through popular one-shot modules from dmsco.com so that you can drop in at any episode that has Part 1 in the title. The players are all a part of the Adventurers Guild, specifically a group called the D-Team, and we have Lord Sean Snow, the hero's hero, who is a 140-year-old human wizard.
I cast magic and missile up its butthole!
We have Death, who is a tiefling rogue, who only eats raw meat and is a little bit shifty when it comes to morals.
Did somebody say meat?
The dwarf druid Ironclaw, who loves nature almost as much as he loves oatmeal.
Cinnamon oatmeal, or get the F out.
And last but not least, we have Ted, the tiefling bard who loves to jam out on his magic guitar and skadoosh out on his magical flying broom.
Skadoosh.
Find us wherever you download your podcast by searching for One Shot Onslaught, and look for new episodes every single Monday.
Hello, I am Gunther the Friendly Orc, and welcome to Gunther the Friendly Orc's boutique. You can find a number of conveniences here, and I would be all too happy to service you. While you're here, have you considered liking, rating, and subscribing to Flintlocks and Fireballs, or leaving them a review? Oh, yes, you can pass me the oils now. And welcome back. So, you head into the comfortable antechamber and more or less flop down exhausted into the pillow fort of just old blankets, pieces of clothing and comfortable things.
Celestia's going to smoke some opium.
Roll me an addiction check while you're there.
9.
Okay, your addiction counter is at 1.
Cool.
However, if this ends up being a long rest, you recover all of your hit dice instead of half of them.
Yeah.
If it's a short rest, then just the usual. Which is an important point.
Yeah, are we long resting?
Well, Celestia's
think
I don't know about all of you, but I'm
probably wise.
fuck out of magic.
I'm out of everything. Which means magic, that's all I've got. I'm out of magic.
Also massively injured. I mean, should we just sleep?
Yeah.
If we can secure this place, I think it's probably... we're not in any immediate danger of being attacked anymore, I don't think.
Oh, we can take watches, can't we?
Also, I imagine that you and I can just, move the big old stone door at the far end of the corridor shut.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're alright with that.
No problem. Don't mind entombing myself in here for a few hours.
You used the word entombing, didn't you? Now it's
Yeah,
disturbing.
bad choice of words.
Yeah. He rolls his shoulders. Right, let's get this closed. And the pair of you together manage to bring the stone doors to, so that you are... Well, at the very least, if anything is going to break into here, you'll hear it coming.
Yeah.
It's just like lying in the middle of the floor with a pipe hanging out of mouth.
Is this place lit with anything?
It is not inherently lit, but
I've got the everlasting
you do
torch
have
still.
a light stone, which you
While I'm
took from
awake,
Yeah, I
I'll
also
snap my
nicked the light
fingers
stone.
and do some dancing lights as well. Obviously, that won't work when I go to sleep. But
Fair enough.
But in the meantime, you do have the light stone. All right, shall I assume standard same watch pattern as
I'll
before?
take the first one. I can't remember
Yeah.
what the pattern is.
It is. You actually had the first in the match. In the
Lovely.
and then it's me, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it's Celestia, then Corzin, then Fighty. You take some time to tend to your various injuries, applying medical care, and then unroll your bedrolls. As like the rest of your equipment, you were carrying it when you evacuated the Charlie's Regret, and it washed up onto shore with you.
Hang on. One of our bedrolls has got a hawk and a vole in it.
Yeah, they're still tied up in that. Still trying to struggle to get out. You guys haven't actually released them.
Celestia's not dealing with it, she's going to sleep.
It's alright.
I think it was...
There's always one of us awake.
True.
Yeah, I think actually it would have been Corzin's bedroll. That,
Yep.
You can have mine.
To be honest, given what we know now, I think it's probably more kind just to put them out of their misery.
I'm not sure we can. I suppose
I
Getting
mean,
involved.
if you really want, I can sort that out for you. Fighty picks up a large rock.
Corzin shrugs.
You watch as over the next 30 seconds, Fighty beats your blanket with a rock repeatedly until the struggling stops. There you go, problem solved. I'm going to bed.
Okay, Corzin takes it up and shakes it out quite
Two-
fastidiously.
Very, very broken bodies of a vole and a hawk flop out. There is a small... You and Celestia observe two shadowy sort of wisps emerge and then flit upwards. It didn't come up in combat because there was a lot of combat happening, but you also observed the same happen whenever you destroyed any of the legionnaires or the
Okay,
expeditionaries
so
in the
the
next room.
spirits, for want of a better term, were travelling straight upwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Nevertheless, after giving your bedroll a thorough brush,
Yeah.
you settle down and get some rest. Scamp, you find yourself sat turning the small silver skull over between your fingers. You can feel this connection to it, almost like a spare pair of hands or like an extra limb in some way. And as you sort of tumble it between your fingers, some part of you innately reaches out to connect with it. And as it does so, you feel that connection surge back. There is something in it or of it, and it doesn't speak to you in words, but you can feel that along with the energy within it, there is a sort of intent, like a whispered voice telling you, it's okay. You don't have to try that hard. You can be smart. You can be cunning. You can smile and speak and charm, and other people can do things for you. You don't need to make an effort. It's all right to just relax. Let the others take up the load. Scamp, I'd like you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Tides isn't.
It is
Can I
dormant.
use tides? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
This seems like a good time to do that.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay. Well, those are both terrible.
Oh shit.
They're both the same thing, so that's a 13.
Okay. There is a part of you that kind of feels like, yeah, maybe you do work a bit too hard at times. Maybe there is a way to solve things by being smart instead of putting more effort in, or getting other people to do these things for you. You are slightly changed when you connect to this. It has no obvious statistical effect, this change, but you are now more likely to consider letting others take up the slack, or talking people into doing things for you rather than doing it for yourself. Not an out-and-out personality change, just something you're more likely to you're just more likely to do.
Okay.
There are some other effects.
Oh dear.
Attuning to this skull takes up an attunement slot, first of all.
Okay.
While you're attuned to it, you have access to, as if you knew, the following spells: Command, Charm Person,
Ooh.
and Slow. It still costs you the appropriate spell slots to cast them.
Do you know off the top of your head what the spell slots are? Just for me,
First
I can
for
look it up.
first for Charm, first for Command, third for Slow. Additionally,
Okay.
you gain 2 maximum sorcery points while you are attuned to this.
Oh.
Shit.
However, while you remain attuned, the role-playing effect will remain in effect. You are more likely to be, as what I would broadly describe as slothful.
Okay.
But yes, after rolling this in your hands for about an hour or so, it's almost like you can feel it pulse in time to your own heartbeat. And you can feel, there's power you can draw from it, and ways you can use its particular way of being to shape the power within you. You have gained the Slothful Skull. Your watch passes otherwise without incident. And as you move to awaken Celestia, you just... Jeffrey has actually been around during this and is mostly being kind of...
Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey just stayed in here during that whole fight. Like, the moment things started to go, like, he just bolted.
Fair.
Smart monkey.
Jeffrey has been stuffing his face with pine nuts.
Oh, Jeffrey, don't. Oh, never mind. Just don't throw them up.
Yeah, I'm not... He's probably going to throw some of them up. You hear the voice in your mind say.
Oh.
Still, though. Yes. Good job, friend. I can feel you're a little more together now.
I don't feel so good, though.
Hmm.
I feel tired.
It can be a struggle with those. Don't worry. I'm sure in time you'll not master, but accommodate to it.
Oh.
And I'll always be here looking out for you.
Thank you.
That's all right. We're in this together, you and I. Now get some rest.
Yeah.
Celestia, you are awakened by Scamp to take your watch.
Mm-hmm.
Your watch is essentially uninterrupted, but if there's anything you'd like to do during it.
Not massively. Maybe jangle away my guitar a little bit to myself, but other than that.
Ding 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 ding. Yeah. You gently jangle away on your guitar until the time comes to awaken Corzin, whose watch similarly passes without incident, although if there's anything you'd like to do, Corzin.
Does Corzin have access to any writing implements of any kind?
If you kept, if you kept a journal of any kind, then you would still have that, although it might be a little waterlogged. Well, it would have had time to dry out since then. There is certainly charcoal or something approaching it in the next room that you could write with.
I mean, whether this is metagamey or not, you've probably seen Celestia writing in her song notebook.
Yeah, no, well, it's not
just true. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that Corzin necessarily would, because I think he would have taken advantage of the writing implements that would have existed on board the Charlie's Regret and wouldn't necessarily have had his own. So, for now, no, he's just going to sit up, watch intently the door, and make sure everyone else is safe.
Okay. Your watch passes without incident, and so does Fighties. When probably morning by now, who knows? You're entirely indoors. Arrives. At least the time when you're all rested and settle down to a cold breakfast of elk meat and salt pork, and as many pine nuts as you want.
I make everyone's breakfast taste like weird things with prestidigitation. It's like, like strawberries and chocolate and...
How much of a high-protein diet have we been on this past week or so?
Well, I don't know about you, but shitting's been an adventure for me.
I've had many a shit adventure.
Hey.
Well, back home they used to say, it's possible to live on dates alone, but you soon wish you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh. Right then.
What do we do now?
I guess we see what else is in that room.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through that door, just saying.
Well, if there's nothing else in there, there's at least stuff of value.
What?
Yeah.
Was that your funny... Hang on, out of character for a second. Would I have recognised that as Infernal now? Because we've seen Infernal a few times.
Yes, you've seen it when it appears on Burning.
Yeah. Let's say to Scamp, was that your funny tiefling language on that door in there?
Yeah.
What did it
I
say?
think scary tiefling came this far and no further.
Right.
And doesn't recommend anyone else goes any further.
I mean, the bit on the top says only death awaits, so I'm feeling like maybe we should leave this fucking alone, to be honest. We've seen a note saying don't open the door. We've seen a note on the door saying only death is ahead. My spider senses are tingling. Just getting a distinct feeling that maybe we shouldn't, and that would be fucking stupid.
It's a well-known drow phrase, my spider senses are tingling.
Yes, it is.
I think that's perfect.
That's why I said it, because double meanings are exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just have a little listen at the door.
That can.
We're not opening the fucking door.
Side question, though. Are we fairly certain that the journal we found was that,
Yeah, so I'm just going to go and sit on my throne a while and, it's so
Weird
easy now I can get
coincidence if it's
everyone
not.
else to do all my shit. I think it was probably him.
Alright, no, that's a point, because it means that he presumably was the last person to come down here. And unless
and he didn't open the fucking door.
Unless he wrote that on the door,
Well, yes.
That-
Do you remember in the journal there was literally a note that said, "Do not open the door," and then he wrote on it, "Don't open the door, only death awaits." Just getting the distinct impression that there are a lot of signals saying no.
It does make one wonder, though, if the tiefling, whoever that was, got here before him, and then didn't open the door.
Or if you know,
No, they
she put
definitely
something
didn't.
there.
Well, they've written that they didn't, and we know they came here first because this is all their treasure. And he wrote that he found the treasure, didn't he?
Right, stepping into the room to look, you can see that the treasures arranged seem to be a mixture of some manner of looted hoard and a collection of the various treasures unearthed by knocking through the doors within this pyramid complex.
Okay, so what exactly have we got here?
Looking at it, you have... It's one of the most frustrating sights you've ever seen, Corzin. There is untold wealth here. There are Aradnean silks, there are brightly coloured fabrics, there are spices, there is a small amount of gold and gold and jewellery with actual jewels. There are a lot more bronze or silver or gold rimmed or gold decorated pieces of crockery. There are beautiful ancient glazed ceramics. There is probably enough wealth here in total for you to buy 2 or 3 ships. But you would need a crew of 30 men and 3 carts to take it all.
Alright, the jewels then.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
Do.
Yeah, good idea.
You do. And as you begin, and you take the time to search the room, the symbols on the wall, on the pillars, those that still survive, all shine up with a distinctive glow of a protective nature.
I imagine we very carefully don't look at them while we search because we're not
cut
thick.
through with a sort of illusory emanation. I need to check the wording of Detect Magic again.
Yeah. While you're doing that, Corzin is going to attempt to gather up enough treasures in various different forms or another that he can be fairly certain would be enough to buy 1 ship.
You're going to be very sad with the answer for that.
It's going to slow us down a lot, but I can carry 500 pounds of stuff on a disc.
My thought being is that, you know, we're never going to be able to take all of this, but if we get enough of this, if it is physically possible for us to carry enough,
think it is.
that we can, that we can. Well, I mean, even if everything with Flighty's means of getting out of here works out fine, we are going to be back to square one whenever we get to where we're going. We need some form of
well, we should take as much
to
as we
get us out of
can.
here.
Let's take all the most expensive bits.
Yeah.
But we can't carry a lot.
The looking around, none of the treasure is coming up magical. As I said, the pillars are coming up magical, and the door doesn't come up magical. It comes up as extremely unmagical. In fact, as before, you and and the various magic items you have come up magical as well. And were you to, and looking down at the skull that you quietly have yourself, that also shines up magical. In terms of the treasure, collecting all of the jewelry together, all of the actual jewels together, all of the jewelry, the most portable things. Let's have a word about. Let's talk about this for a moment then. So,
okay.
In terms of very fungible, easy to sell, easy to carry goods, you are able to collect just shoved into your pack. Like you get what you would, and this is a broad guess. You would need to take it to be valued.
Yeah.
You would guess that you can pack that you have. There's maybe 1,000 gold, sort of bright Hallish gold crowns.
Okay.
Worth of jewellery.
Is that just in Corzin's bag?
That's getting all of the jewellery together and all of the more valuable sort of golden and silver items and packing them into one bag. That you'd need one bag to put it. That would be worth 1,000 gold, roughly.
Decent.
If you were to then fill up the rest of your bags, even accounting for taking some of the elk meat out, although you're loath to take too much of that out, and obviously there are some things which need to be filled up, like the water barrel and so on, keg and so on, which is taking up supplies. You could get another 2,000 total.
So should we say 1,000 each, just for ease of like?
Within all of the bags, yeah, you'd be able to get about 3,000 total, and that's allowing for things like the bolts of cloth, the fabric, the hoard items, and some of the more valuable ancient wares. With the floating disc, the remaining you could put 500 pounds of, again, like lower grade bronzeware, copperware, silverware, ancient glazed crockery, which you would guess would be maybe another couple of thousand. So, assuming you cast the floating disc and load up all of your packs,
an hour,
which we might not be able to keep.
It would need doing once an hour, and it can't fly. Like it can only go a certain height above the ground.
Yeah, we'll say that for the purposes of this, that casting the disc slows down your travel speed by 1/6. Because we'll say that you kind of stop. You cast it for 10 minutes, walk for 50 minutes, cast it for 10 minutes, walk for 50 minutes.
I'm not sure that's
and
worth
cycle
it.
Yeah, you can do that, but for the extra 2,000 gold pieces worth.
It's getting out of the temple is the difficult bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of armies outside.
I mean, for a start, just for ease of writing it down, let's all write 1,000 gold worth of treasure that we have for each of us, because we have 3,000 if we're just carrying it, basically.
Cool. Yeah.
But
some of this is also in Fighty's packs.
I mean, let's do this in character. It's more fun. Are we really thinking of casting that disc once an hour? Because that's going to make us fucking slow.
I'm not sure we'll get past those armies with it.
I think we might have to run at some point. I mean, money's great and that.
Oh, it can keep up with me, but it just can't fly. So getting out of here is going to be hard.
How far away are we from where we need to go, Fighty?
I told you before I don't get a sense of the exact distance, but I guess it's probably not far beyond the edge of this ring. We got to travel out as it were, out past this the other way for about 30 miles before we reach where I guess there'd be the other set of eye obelisks.
I don't trust the sort of. We need to be able to make a quick getaway.
All right, no. Well, 3,000 gold pieces is nothing to be sniffed at.
Yeah, it's good.
It's at least a start, because we're gonna need funds when we get to where we're going.
Looking around,
it's
deeply frustrating for you, Corzin, because you feel like there's anywhere between 20 to 30,000 gold pieces worth of stuff in this room in total, but you just don't have the resources to get it out of here.
We'd need wagons, we'd need men.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, we know where this is at least now. In fact,
I mean, that's something.
That's a point. Corzin is going to get out his navigator's tools, and he is going to try, whenever he next has the opportunity to do so, he is going to try and plot their rough course from where they started to where they are now, and from here to wherever they end up going, because if at all possible he wants to have at least a vague idea of where all of this is, in case he ends up back here.
Alright, well, I'll make you roll for that later.
Yeah, sure.
Keep that in mind. So you gather up the 3,000 gold pieces worth of treasure that you can. you are now pretty heavily loaded down with loot.
Mm-hmm.
And much like the several hundred gold pieces of jewellery you already have, at some point you've got to find a fence or a broker or someone to convert this into actual money.
Can I have a little listen at the door?
Give me a perception check.
8.
Can I do the same?
You can. As you press your ear to the door, it is cold to your ear's touch.
I would also like to listen.
Okay, everyone
I
give
don't
me a
hear
perception
anything.
check.
Right.
That is a 17 from me.
21 from me.
Okay, with a 17 you can't really hear anything, it's just a
Cold.
door. It's cold. Corzin, you can just very faintly hear. And it basically loops.
Do I recognise what language that is?
Give
Can I
me an
even make a
intelligence
vague
check.
guess?
Give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence check, okay. 12?
You have not a fucking clue.
Okay, I relay to the others. I can hear something. It sounds like words, but
Greg, what kind of words could you understand?
no, it's not a language I think I've ever heard before. But
What's the tone? Is it angry? Is it shouting? Is it
it's
singing?
sort of like chanting, and it's the
It's
same
really
phrase.
hard to hear. It's like just on the edge of hearing with you.
I'm sorry, there's a door that says only death awaits and there's something fucking chanting behind it. Let's go! Fucking
Well,
hell!
Like a good day
It's the same
out.
phrase repeated over and over again.
Yes, let's leave!
Does it feel? You mentioned it feels cold. Is it like unnaturally cold?
It's like if there were it's like if you were putting your ear against a steel door and outside it's winter.
Okay, so pretty cold.
Yeah, like fridge, like fridge cold maybe.
Okay,
It's
Can you
weird.
repeat what it's saying?
can I?
You give it your best attempt, yeah. It is not infernal.
I assume it's not fucking elvish either, you know?
It is not elvish.
Or dwarvish. Or undercommon.
Or dwarvish or undercommon.
Yep.
And it's definitely not common or halfling.
Nope, not Javan, not halfling. And not gnomish.
Okay.
Flighty doesn't know what's being said either.
Yeah, I know
I
I'm
mean-
not usually the person to say this, but I'm getting a very bad feeling.
No, I'm with you on this one, unfortunately.
Don't get me wrong, my curiosity is fucking raging, but
If I can,
I've got stuff I need to be alive for, and literally everything about this door says death.
Yeah, if I can pin down exactly where we are on this part of the land, then I might be able to construct a rudimentary map of how to get back here at some point later, if we want to do that.
I mean,
But for now,
hell, it's worth doing.
our primary concern has to be getting out of here alive.
yes.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should send to Vieg again and tell him to steer clear of this place.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean,
I don't
guess-
imagine he's going to go looking for it, but we don't want him
No.
or any of his people
I mean, I
stumbling
think
across
he's
it
probably going
accidentally.
to. I think he's probably just going to stay in the cave, isn't he?
Yeah, we're a week from the shore. No
yeah,
one's coming here
I'm
by
not
accident.
too worried about that.
Alright, well,
And I think the less people that even know it exists might be better.
have
you make a
point
fair
there.
point. Alright. Well, I think as soon as we get out of here and to relative safety, we should at least check in with him.
Yeah, probably should. See if the ship's there yet.
And Molly, if
we can
if
check
we
in on
can.
Molly, that's okay.
Thank you.
Right.
It's been a couple of days.
Yeah, she's probably getting worried.
It's been a week. This has been a something of a week.
Yeah, you might have put it that way, Scamp. And I sort of... Actually, would I be able to even reach to ruffle their hair?
They'd have to lean down a bit.
Can I see that Corzin goes for their hair and has a moment of, oh shit, I'm too short, and then can I lift him up?
Oh.
Okay.
Provided you don't resist, Corzin.
Provided Corzin lets me, but I don't think he will.
There is a split second where, like, and he just sort of sighs, and then, without even looking, just ruffles Scamp's hair. Says, "Alright, you can put me down again now." He goes, and he sort of wags a finger at Celestia and says, "It is a mark of how good a friendship we have right now. I let you do that.
Well,
Let us never speak of this again."
Cute. You look very sweet. Let's go.
So, you
I can't believe
packing up
you did
that. With your bags now literally bulging with treasure, you head out to the furthest corridor that you reached before turning in. Do you wish to try and explore around the corridors and see if you can find a way out on the ground level, or attempt to return back up to the rooftop?
Well, seeing as we're here, we might as well.
Well, I don't know that we're going to find anything other than, traps
Scary
and death.
things. Yeah.
I can get us out with a fly.
Yeah, we could literally just shoot out, couldn't we?
Unless you think it's worth looking around down here.
We can't carry any more treasure.
I'm not carrying anything more.
No, my bag's fucking heavy.
Alright, but I'm just thinking if we get out at the top, we're going to have to make our way down the sides anyway, aren't we?
No, we fly until we're well away.
We leave.
Alright.
I am going to say, because you are a bit laden under with treasure, over with treasure. Fly spell just gives you a maximum number of pounds you can carry, doesn't it?
Oh, I
Don't
don't
know.
remember.
I think it does.
Let me have a look.
Let me check.
I can check, yeah.
Oh, I'll just check it. FG. Fire, flame strike, fly. Oh, no, it doesn't. It just gives you flame speed. Okay, well, the two... whoever gets the fly spell cast on them is going to have to make an athletics check to carry the people they're carrying.
Oh, dear.
Lol.
Because you're all a bit weighed down.
Shit.
I mean, I could waste some spells and cast it on... I mean, splitting up.
I don't like that,
No,
to be honest.
here's weird. We shouldn't start
Just
here.
for 10
There's
minutes.
There's a giant bronze statue outside that isn't particularly well disposed to us.
I'd rather we be together.
I'm not good at things that involve strength. So
Well, if I hold on to your back...
we're going to sort of just drift down towards the floor, I think.
Is it worth giving it a try?
It's
I
not
mean, I
that
can
it,
catch
that
them
it
on
makes
other
you
people.
drift down. The risk is that you will just lose your arm grip and drop them.
I mean,
Let's have a look and see
there
if
are
there's a way out.
two very strong party members. I say, looking at Corzin Horhace. Could you cast it on them?
Small.
They are small. I'm sorry, you're both very small.
If
No, that's fine. I'm not self-conscious about my height.
Yeah, and Corzin just sort of shrugs like, yeah, and?
So that if I try and sit on your back, I'm not sure I'll fit.
Well, let's give it a try. And Corzin takes Scamp's hands, places them sort of over his shoulders and around his neck, and sort of bends forwards in an attempt to kind of give them a piggyback.
Give me an athletics check.
Yeah. Well,
Both of you have
that's
massive
gonna
bags of
work
treasure.
to our advantage because it means that their legs are going to be high up enough that they're probably not going to drag on the floor.
Give me an athletics check, Corzin.
Okay.
If you just fall on your face, this would be very funny.
That's a 10.
You are literally teetering like backwards and forwards.
I'm gonna just look at this carnage ahead of me and just go, well, this is all very well, but I'm at least 2 of fighty, just saying.
You could probably still bench press you.
I mean, I know you're fucking
I'm not
strong,
actually
but...
that strong.
You not?
No! I like to make up... I make up with it with, piss and vinegar.
You're not strong, you're just angry, is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Fucking hell. That's terrifying.
Like, I'm not as strong... I'm a gnome, not a halfling. I don't have that kind of explosive strength.
Right.
We tend to be a bit more measured, but we live longer.
I could probably lift you. Not
I
that
imagine.
big.
Right, go on, give it a shot.
Do I need to make a check of any
Yes,
kind?
you do. Make an athletics check.
Fucking hell, I'm not good at athletics, so it's going to be very funny. Oh, 11.
You stagger a little, but you lift him. And the huge bag as well.
Oh, I'm going to get a fucking hernia. That's what's going to happen. Right, shall we fly?
Yes, this is a conclusive proof that this plan will work.
This is a great idea.
Staggering up to the to the room with the elaborate carved floor circle, and the sculpture, the wall reliefs of what the city would have looked like with the moon, with a sort of moon window looking up. And actually, it is night now, or very possibly very early morning. You don't know. Regardless, it is dark out.
I will cast Fly on Celestia and Corzin then.
Okay, Celestia, Corzin, give me athletics
I'm
checks.
so bad at athletics, guys. This is a fucking terrible idea, but I'm here for it.
Okay, that's a much better athletics roll. That's 24.
13?
Okay. Corzin, you are, with the aid of the flight giving you sort of a bit of a bulk, of a boost, you're able to shoulder the weight of Scamp and Scamp's pack and your pack and glide fairly smoothly up into the air. Celestia, it's really hard to use your core to lift when you have nothing to press against with your feet. It's like this... Using your body to fly is hard enough where, being as you're essentially using a purely magical means of suspension. Add to that the idea of trying to hold something up.
But with 2 packs.
With 2 packs! Yeah, you are a staggering mess. But you do manage to fly off to Corzin, and the 4 of you, one smoothly flying, the other kind of drunkenly
I'm
flying.
zigzagging about going, fucking hate fucking flying!
Straight up into the air. You can see down below there's the distant of the Guardian on the other, actually pretty much on the other side of the pyramid by this point. Doesn't seem to have noticed you. Looking down from above, actually, in this position, you can actually very faintly hear a clang, clang, clang. And as you look down from this angle, you can actually see down into the Tyrian fortification, where ancient undead humans and halflings are scurrying around, some of which appear to be working at a forge, hammering out weapons and javelin heads and melting down and repurposing other ones. You also see as they drag broken bodies of legionnaires back towards the onto these sorts of benches, and another of these undead legionnaires begins sewing the bodies back together, as far as you can tell, just with thread and a needle.
Ooh.
And Celestia, you're the only one whose dark vision extends low enough for you to really see this in any detail.
Mm-hmm.
The cold flame above seems to flicker, and you watch as a wisp of shadow streams down from it and plunges into the chest of one of the repaired legionnaires, who shudders and then sits back up. None of the rest of you can really see this due to either not being able to physically see spirits or just not having the night vision.
I mean, I feel like I'm too busy to relay this right now.
But you see it happening. As you do continue flying along for the next 10 minutes, which is just enough to get you a good portion of the way towards the far side of the city, before you both feel that sort of unsteadiness that starts to indicate you're going to start losing altitude soon and begin to make your way down. As you are, however, still, a good who would this be? Yeah, Scamp, roll me a d20, please.
Oh dear. 16?
160 feet over the surface. Scamp, roll me a d100.
No!
You're the worst.
Oh no.
80.
80? That's a
We had
new
80.
one.
Yeah.
Don't think we have, no.
Okay, you watch as you turn and look. Celestia, you're kind of staggering in the air when it looks as if, inexplicably, Corzin, you think at first, then you it is farting butterflies and flower petals, and you realise, actually no, they're coming off Scamp. Just brightly coloured pink and yellow and blue butterflies and rose petals just seem to be streaming out of their skin, just like coming out of their hair like dandruff.
The hell?
Floating behind them.
I try to catch one with my tail.
Your tail, it passes straight through it.
Am I more
I
tired
like
than I
this
think
one.
I am?
This one's okay. I like this one.
It's pretty, says Celestia, who's flying nearby.
And Corsin's just sort of looking around confused, like, is this really the time and the place?
I didn't mean to.
You slowly touch down into a more secluded part of the city, and then proceed to make your way on and out. In the interest of time, I will say that over the next 2 days, you proceed to make, actually, for the better part of 3 days.
What date are we on?
So by the time you'd finish this, you will be you leave the outskirts, which say after 3 days of travel on the 30th of First Flurries. Bearing in mind the Regret crashed on the 13th. Crashed, was destroyed on the 13th.
Exploded.
Exploded. Yeah.
Oh, so abstract. Once we touch down, we use sending to check in on Vegan Molly. But I think we can abstract
we
that.
can abstract that. They
Unless
both
anything is
essentially
hugely
confirm
triple.
that they're all right. Vig is still waiting, but is happy to hear the news that Vengeance is supposedly going to be sending something help. Otherwise, reports in things are fine. Pixies are annoying. Molly shouts a bit, but is glad you're okay. Was unnerved at not getting a response the other night, but understands how these things go. And yeah, 3 days, eventually 3 days of travel later, you finally reach the outskirts of this huge circumference, encountering again for the first time in 6 days one of the massive three-sided pillars with the eyes. As you step beyond it, Scamp, the sense of absence disappears. The world feels right again. All of your spirits calm the fuck down. And Celestia, you see actually... Celestia and Corzin, you see for a moment a brightly coloured sort of pink and green butterfly with a lizard's tail poke its head out from behind a tree and then flutter away.
What was that?
Neither of the pair of the others react to it, and it takes you a moment to realise.
It was a spirit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's normal again.
Well, I'm not sure normal's the right word.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still shipwrecked in a fucking forest, but we're not in weird
I feel
land.
better. I felt weird for days.
Really? You
Yeah.
didn't say anything.
Since we've been in the thing, it's just felt weird.
Well, you saw how it affected our spirits. They didn't
No,
leave.
no, I
but-
didn't.
No, I was talking to Celestia.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they left, but they were obviously
been
affected by it in
scared.
some way.
They were scared. I've not seen them scared before, but they were scared. Something very weird about that place. I'm glad we're out.
Me too. I still feel a bit tired though.
Yeah. Oh, can I take out my little vial of undead beetles and see if anything's happened to them?
They are still writhing around in there.
Okay. I'll leave them.
Okay.
Come back.
You return to your inventory, 1 vial of undead beetles.
Yeah.
I mean, darling, if you're tired, I've still got coffee.
Duh!
Didn't think so.
Duh! My sweets got all wet in the shipwreck and they went sticky and
Oh.
salt watery.
Oh,
I ate them anyway.
of course you did.
My belly's been weird for a long time. I didn't want to say anything.
It's as good a thing that you've got the constitution that you have, Scamp.
It is already approaching evening by the time you reach these pillars, and you travel for another hour or so beyond them before you set up camp and take up your watches. And once again, for the first time in over half a week,
Oh, for
I
fuck's
was
sake.
going to say we should find a place that is at least defensible against feckin' pixies.
Yep, let's start a big fire.
and you do. Knowing what's likely to come, you keep the fire going with your. It helps to have the everlasting torch as well.
Yeah.
And
Prestidigitation as well to start it up.
although the pixies continue to play pranks on you throughout the night, there is one point where they manage to lob what at first you think is like a cricket ball, but it's actually a stitched together series of leaves, really carefully stitched together around basically bear urine,
That's impressive.
and coat the side of your lean-to that you build.
Yeah. I prestidigitation it off.
Bears do not attack. You've learned from the first night to just prestidigitation this stuff away.
Ugh.
But for a few seconds it's really unpleasant, and you just
Fuck you. Vicious mockery. Does the laughter stop?
you hear other voices as if cackling at that one's misfortune.
Oh, fucking hell.
The sniggering continues throughout the night until morning comes, the first of full frost.
Oh, wow.
We've entered into a new month.
So I've been in here a long time.
My
So-
tail's cold.
And indeed, it is cold. The snow is infrequent, but the area is quite thoroughly bedecked in it. The woods continue to be laden down. However, can I ask for, at your choice, everyone can make either an investigation, perception, or survival check. Any of these would apply.
I'm so good at all these things.
Perception.
I think the only one I've
Do
actually got
investigation
because
because it's the same as perception, but Corzin's doing perception, so I'll do investigation. Oh, it's shit.
I got a 1.
So, 6.
11.
Scamp, you feel like, yeah, fuck it, they can do it. You have a lot of confidence in your companions.
Yeah. Also, can I roll a wisdom check with the navigator's tools to try and plot where we've come
Yes,
from,
you
where
can.
we're going?
Please do.
So, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's my wisdom modifier, and I'm proficient, so I can add my proficiency to that, so it would be a +5. Okay, that is a 22.
Okay, you feel like you have a pretty good idea of where in the world the these ruins are. Enough that you could give a broad latitude and longitude when you get hold of an actual map again.
Okay, Corzin will...
Just a lot of it's judging from the stars and so on, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a pretty good idea of where this is.
Okay.
Like, within... it's not very accurate, but you could definitely pin it to within 100 miles.
Alright, Corzin might ask Celestia to just take down some longitude and latitude coordinates, and he'll say, this is my best guess, to be honest, and it's not going to be massively accurate given all the available stuff I have to go on, but it'll be at least useful for giving us the general location of the place.
I mean, it's a fucking start, isn't it? Let's be honest. I take them down in my song notebook, which I imagine is... Like, I imagine I've had to do some
Crinkles.
separating of pages, and it's a bit wobbly. But
Yeah.
survived in my head, and I've used it since.
Actually, this is a relevant question. Can prestidigitation iron?
I don't know.
Let's find
It
out.
says it can soil or clean something.
Yeah, I mean, it's
We're also doing leveled up prestidigitation, but
This
I
is
think that's
true.
just...
You know what? I'm going to say that, yeah, it can probably iron, especially the leveled up version. So
Yeah.
you were able to iron your pages flat again, but they're in that kind of weird way that pages that have been like the paper gets when it's been wet, dried, and then ironed.
Yeah.
Like they're really flat.
Yeah, and it's just about legible, but a bit weird, I
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah.
With an 11, you don't really notice much until you almost bump into one of these. You notice at one point that you hear a sort of clattering in the wind, and you look up and you can see there is what might best be described as a fetish, a series of animal bones strung together on a string made of, you would guess, sinew. The bones have been carved and marked in a curiously flowing script, just a few characters at a time. Celestia, you recognise this as a dialect of Elven.
Mm-hmm. What does it say?
It says... Get the exact name here. It says Rhiannon's Grove. Outsiders, and here's a thing, it's technically, the exact wording is welcome, but it's in the way that Elven sometimes has fun contextual things, and it's welcome in the way that someone bringing a roast to your house for dinner is welcome. Yeah. So it's welcome, but with the implication of objects or consumables.
Like in the way that a fish would be welcome in a shark's mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say to the others, I think we found the wood elves.
Oh dear.
It
Great.
says Rhiannon's Grove, outsiders welcome, but
That's nice.
Elvish is weird. It's not like nice welcome. It's like if when a bear ate a rabbit, it said welcome just before it did it.
That's less nice.
Like flies are welcome in a spider's web.
Yes, exactly like that. We should avoid.
Well, the good news is we don't need to travel that way. Fighty kind of points to the trees. I feel like we're close, and we're actually going... if we're lucky and that's a border marker... Wrong accent there. If we're lucky and that's a border marker, don't know what happened to my voice there.
Went a bit Welsh.
Yes. If we're looking, that's a border marker. We shouldn't need to go through it because we need to go that way. And in fact, there, do you see that? And Fighty points at what looks kind of like a bird's nest clumped up in one of the pine trees. Anyone who wants to can make a nature check.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, nature. That's
Natural
21.
one.
So natural one from
me, yeah.
from Celestia. Corzin, what did you get?
21.
Okay, it's like you. Ah, yes, this must be one of those fabled bird nests you've heard about on the surface. You wonder, like, you've seen birds flitting around in town, but you've not actually seen a nest in a tree yet. Yeah, Corzin, this isn't a bird nest. This is mistletoe, which is a parasitic plant that grows on the branches of other trees. And in particular, this clump of mistletoe has another plant woven through it, a small sort of vine with tiny blue flowers, which are flowering even now.
Do I have any idea what that is?
Yes. So this is a small type of flower known as widow's tears.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good for resolving stomach bugs. However, used in excess, it's also a good way to poison someone. And was classically used in certain sectors of halfling society to get out of, unhappy betrothals a lot of the time.
Ah.
Those days are fortunately long past, and these days halflings are more likely to use widow's tears to poison, say, a business competitor, or a long-standing rival.
Right.
Thanks to the arrival of the Regency and the concept of divorce.
I'm going to look at where Fighty's pointing and go, what, isn't that a bird's nest? We're here to see a bird's nest?
Not quite.
Coulson is going to gather a few of the widow's tears and is going to relay most of that information.
Okay. You got a clump of widow's tears. Brackets flower. You might want to write on your character sheet there.
Yeah.
Not just like a vial of it.
Yeah, in a year's time, you'll look back and go, "What?"
Yeah. Fighty says, more than that though. There's mistletoe, and widow's tears, and that's a good sign for us, because this is a marking, which means we're close enough that I can actually now tell you stuff without it. That bloody gish activating.
Right.
Not too much, but I can tell you where we're going next. So the thing is, one of those holes, or let's call it a gate, well, those sometimes appear sporadically and temporarily, usually only for the duration of a night. Now there have been one or two that have appeared, but while we've been travelling, but far enough away that we'd not be able to get there during the course of a single night. So I haven't taken you to those ones.
And those are like Vera's ones with the fingers.
Pretty similar, yes. Well, this is kind of like that too. But this is one of the ones that's more permanent. There's a very few of those. And by and large, those ones tend to be owned or guarded.
By what?
Well, in this place,
Cannibals.
Fucking wood elves.
fairies.
Oh.
Oh.
So, yeah, we're going. If we need to in order to use this gate, we're going to need the permission of the local fairy lord in these parts. Because I really would not recommend trying to break in through to it.
Right.
That would go poorly. So the good news is this one's that I recognise these signs, and widow's tears in mistletoe is the mark of Anwin. That means that this area is claimed by Anwin's court. Now, Anwin, as fairy lords go, is relatively safe.
Right. When you say relatively, that means they're not going to attack us on sight.
Exactly. So, let's be... Okay, so I'm going to put this pretty straightforward. Anwin and his court would like nothing more than to kill and eat you, but they won't because they abide by certain laws of hospitality. And killing and eating your guests is bad hospitality.
It's not very hospitable, yeah.
But they're not quite the rules that you're used to.
Okay.
So is it a case of we do something for them, they do something for us?
OC for a
outside
second.
of not...
How much we know about fairies?
Yeah,
Genuinely,
give me an Arcana check.
Yeah.
All of us?
Anyone who wants to.
5. Fuck all. About as much as I do, I imagine.
Even Scamp for fairy tales.
Oh,
Yeah, 5.
16.
Okay, neither of the pair of you, Corzin or Celestia, really know anything about fairies. You thought pixies were fairies, like you're not really sure about the distinction. Scamp. Some of the other street kids would tell stories. And you've heard a lot of stories over the years, and you've heard a thing or two about proper fairy stories and about tales of the fairies that lurk in the deep woods. You know that they take many forms, but you also know that they're bound by rules, by really weird rules. What follows for one fairy doesn't necessarily follow for the rest, but they'll always stick to those rules. They also tend to be very magical. They have a lot of power, but again, and they tend to be, well, not as outright evil as Olga, necessarily, but they don't, you know that all the stories say that they don't care about the same things that people care about. And this can mean that they can act in very weird ways.
Do I know if they have any sort of immunity to charm effects?
You would say that, yeah, they probably have. You would know that it's notoriously fairies like to use charms themselves, unless their specific codes prohibit them, and they tend to be quite resistant to attempts to charm them themselves.
Okay.
So yeah, you'd know that they're probably resistant. They'd probably, in game terms, have advantage on saving throws against being charmed.
Okay.
You also know that they have the power to turn you into things, or change your form a lot of the time as well. Although it's, again, there's a lot of different fairies, and they seem to work in a lot of weird ways.
Okay, I relay everything I can know.
Right.
Fighty chips in a bit to this as well. So the thing is, I don't know, have you ever met something which sticks rigidly to a series of rules?
Yes.
Yes.
So, fairies, all of these fairy-type creatures, the older they are, the more bound they are by rules. But the way it works is like chess. Have you all, who amongst you has played chess?
I've played chess.
Right.
Would Corzin have... Can I
You
just...
probably, yeah.
I've so played chess. I mean,
You've probably wagered on chess, Corzin.
DM, do you agree?
You've totally played chess.
I've so played chess, I can just tell.
Yeah. So, you know that in chess, let's say, for instance, you can't move a pawn more than one space unless it's the opening move when you can move it two. And that's the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Now, physically, there is nothing to stop you taking that pawn, moving it to the other side of the table, and knocking over a king.
Yeah, or just flipping the table.
Yeah, or just flipping the table over and beating someone with a chessboard.
But then
I've done it
lost.
myself. Well, I mean, yeah, you've lost, or you're just not playing the game. So here's the thing. Let's imagine you're a chess grandmaster. You've been playing your whole life, and you're really skilled in that sort of thing, right? And you've beaten thousands and thousands of opponents. Now, at any time, you could just cheat not even like flipping the board over, but maybe you move the pawn twice on a time you can only move it once or something. Now, you could do that, and it could win you a game. But you've been playing by the rules that long? Well, that's always going to bug you. Was I just not good enough to win this time? What's the point? And if you don't play by the rules, there's no point to chess.
It's less fun.
Exactly.
Not that chess is really that fun, but
you get the point. Although you should try playing speed chess down in a halfling dive pub.
That sounds like much better chess than what I've played.
But that aside, the thing is, when you get these really old, really powerful fairies, there is nothing in the world that can stop them just ripping your head off and drinking mead from your skull, except the rules that they've bound themselves by.
So what are those rules?
In the case of Anwen, hospitality. Hospitality is his big thing, but it's not, and it's annoying because it doesn't follow a lot of the usual rules. You've probably heard, just as a Scamp, the old thing of you go to the fairy, you visit with fairies, you don't eat anything they give you, you don't drink anything they give you, right?
Yeah.
Opposite. Anwen's specific rules of hospitality are, and please do remember these, you can't, if they give you something to eat and drink, if it's offered to you, you have to eat and drink of it, even if it's just a taste.
So you don't have to finish everything.
No, but you have to have some of whatever he offers you. If they offer you a place to sleep, you have to sleep there, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
Right.
If they offer you gifts, you have to take them, and if they're items of clothing, you have to wear them for at least a day.
Okay.
Now the thing is, if you break those rules, they get to do stuff to you. You get usually there's a big rule of 3 that works a lot with fairies. So you can break the rules twice, and they'll only do little things to you. Maybe they'll change something about you, or they'll make you itch all over, or do something weird and unpleasant. If you break the rules 3 times, then they get to kill and eat you.
What do you mean, change something about you? That was ominous.
Like give you a pig's tail, or turn your head into a donkey.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I think you'd look good with a donkey head.
Shut up.
Not a donkey head, a whole donkey.
A whole donkey on your head.
That's what I've heard
even
once.
better.
This is some freaky bullshit, Fighty.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome to the stuff you learn as a kid as a gnome.
Let's talk childhood sometime.
I'd love to, but there is literally a curse that prevents me from doing so.
Oh, fucking hell.
So, that's the rule. Eat or drink anything, a bit of anything they give you. Accept anywhere they tell you to sleep. They offer you to sleep. Accept any gift you're given. Wear any clothes for a day. Now,
what about poison?
Don't need to drink actual poison because the rules of hospitality prevent them from killing you that way. And the rule is they're not allowed to break hospitality first.
Okay.
Oh, that does strike me as something more that Olga would do.
But, I mean, non-fatal poisons. What about that?
You're talking like alcohol, or?
I guess they could give you like.
No, just things that would mess
I
you
suppose
up.
if it can't do, they can't give you anything that'll do you lasting harm.
But like something that make you hallucinate or some bullshit.
They could, they could slip you. They could slip you some mushrooms. They could give you something to make you shit yourself. Like all that's technically within the rules.
I mean, I suppose it'd be a bit shit, but we could deal with it.
I mean, what do they usually want? Are you able to tell us that?
I mean, I don't know about Anwen specifically. As a general rule, and it really varies because fairies run the gamut. Some of them have some of them take themselves really seriously. Some of them are just constantly joking and laughing. All of the thing about almost all fairies is they're immortal, so they're looking for a good time.
Right.
They're looking to be entertained or amused in some way.
So when you say at the end of all this hospitality rubbish, they will give us a favour in exchange for 3 favours, those will be really weird stuff.
They're almost always weird shit, yeah. But they'll generally be shit that you're able to do, at least conceivably, because the same rules sort of apply. Sure, in theory they could tell you to, bring them a cup full of the sky or something. And
that'd be no fun.
And that'd be the fairy equivalent of fuck you. But that's the thing. They kind of want to see... Some of them want to see you succeed, some of them want to see you struggle. But there's no struggle if you just give up at the start. So generally there'll be something that's unpleasant or weird or funny but you're the butt of the joke. Something like that. But it's usually something doable.
Right.
Okay.
Well, at least we're all rested.
Yeah, and, not to put too fine a point on it, but I'm quite ready for something to be not openly hostile to us.
I think you might have a long wait.
I think I prefer open hostility to, pretending to be nice while
I don't like
fucking
mind
us over.
games.
True.
Oh. Well, that cheerful note, then let's head on in. And as you make your way deeper in, you find yourselves. You find that as you go on, things are still, it's still deep cut snow. But every now and again you hear just almost like the ringing of a bell or something. It's like a ding, 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 dings in the trees. And you'll look up and you'll see what you swear you saw like little glimmers of light amongst the pine needles before they wink out. And once or twice there's and it's kind of reminiscent of the pixie laughs, but there's less malice in them. More like as if there's children just out of sight that are giggling at your approach.
This is so much worse.
Tell me you're hearing that.
So much worse.
I'm hearing that. It's okay. We're not going mad.
Well, I think I might be going mad anyway. This is enough to drive anyone crazy.
Yeah, fair. Maybe we're all long over the hill and we haven't realised.
We're actually all just sat in a bar somewhere giggling to ourselves.
Rolling on the floor. Yeah.
Dreams don't last this long.
Oh.
I won't call this a dream.
In any case, look up ahead, and Fighty points, and you can see the trees have started to grow. They're actually growing a little bit more regularly, and you notice that almost a path or an avenue has appeared between them. It doesn't look as if this place has been sculpted with gardening, just more like the trees have been persuaded to grow there and not in the centre. And you can see in the very distance there is a silvery flame burning on a sconce. As you trudge through the snow, fighting through the foot-deep sort of white powder, you see up ahead through the trees almost possibly the first wooden structure you've seen since the Regret crashed. It seems almost to be an enormous, vaguely Meadmere-ish inspired mead hall. Just a probably about 60 feet high at its highest point. One of those is essentially like a longhouse, appropriately enough, built of huge wooden timbers bending in like a ship's ribs at the top to form a great arched roof. You can see through the windows, which are currently shuttered. There's the glimmer of firelight within. There's a hole in the ceiling from which smoke emerges, and you can just very faintly hear the sound of fiddles and horns and music from within. And there's a pair of huge wooden doors at the front, with a single knocker made from some sort of golden wood.
I knock.
Seems like the polite thing to do.
Yeah.
On the third knock, the door creaks open, and you look in, and there's the music seems to die down. It's all quiet out, and you can see there is a huge mead hall in the centre with a vast long fire pit filled with burning logs, crackling away. The heat sort of rushes out at you, and you can see that there are banquet tables, not currently filled. There seems to be drinks served, but not food yet, stretched out around the burning pit, and a distant high table, and sat at the benches there are creatures, mostly humanoid, some gnomish, vaguely sort of gnomish looking, but clearly not gnomes. The same size as Corzin Horhace, some smaller, almost like pixies. There are a couple of things which look almost like huge tree creatures, like living trees, one of which is playing a tiny banjo, or has stopped playing it.
That's so cool.
But most of them are vaguely humanoid figures with strange purple or pink or green tinted skin. Wearing brightly coloured caps and clothing stitched together from fabric found in the woods. One or two are just garbed entirely. One or two are garbed in furs. One figure at the back seems to be an enormous beetle, just a 6-foot high beetle, with its forelegs clutched around a huge wooden tankard filled with beer. And at the far end you can see there is a tall humanoid figure, not unlike an elf, like a high elf, same pointed sort of ears, but looking at them you can actually see they're fringed in a way that resemble the leaves of a tree, something spiky like a holly perhaps, and he's wearing a long robe of some sort of silken material, and at the collar there is a sprig of mistletoe and a spring of these widow's tears, sort of flowers. And he is sat on a high oaken chair behind the far feasting table. Who is it that knocks thrice upon the mead hall of Anwin the Fair?
I'm gonna go into a low bow. Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
Some of the smaller fairies turn to each other.
Corzin raises his tricorn.
You see the beetle chitter to one of the tree creatures. Very polite, yes. And why have you come to my hall?
Well, we hear...
Whitey, do you want to take this one?
Whitey steps forward and bows low. We have come to your mead hall, Anwin the Fair, to humbly ask for a night of your hospitality as guests on these cold winter days. And you see Anwin brings together long, slightly too long for humanoid digits, fingers, and steeples them in front of him as he leans forward onto the table. Really? Well then, and he smiles and his teeth are all pointed. You are welcome to my halls. Please come sit! And he looks down, and 3 of the little gnome-like figures wearing the pointed caps sort of... and a small kind of fur-garbed, fat little creature, which you instinctively want to call a fatling, sort of steps, skips off its stool, and they vacate spaces, actually quite close to the head of the table, and the whole crowd, this assembled throng of fairies, look to you to see what you will do.
I say thank you, that's very kind, and sit down.
Okay. As you...
I sit down.
I cautiously sit down,
Yeah, I'm going to sit as close to Celestia as I
As
can.
you all make your way and sit down, the doors close
I hate
again.
this.
And the figure with the...
Oh, it's so tempting to use thaumaturgy.
You'll get fucked up,
But I
mate,
don't.
if you do.
I don't. It would be so funny, but I
And
don't.
the tree figures sort of look to each other. Well, okay then. And begin playing a jaunty tune. As the band begins to assemble of these various fey creatures, playing along this merry melody, Anwin claps to the twice with his long-fingered hands. Come, bring out the first course. Our guest must be hungry after such a long journey. And more of these fatlings, these little... They are just like tiny little... They're little creatures. They're shorter than Corzin. They seem to be like these roly-poly little figures with almost like round little bodies and stubby little legs and stubby little arms. They are immensely cheerful for some reason. And they seem to come exclusively in like snow white, properly snow white or light pink or light green skin, wearing matching clothes. They start jiggling out of and carrying just a line of them carrying plates, moving with, and you see tankards are placed in front of you, and some sort of deep brown liquid is poured into each one. And in front of each of you is placed a plate of pine needles coated in pine tar.
Oh, that's alright. I'll leave it then.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a couple of pine needles
Pick up
and
a couple
take a
pine
sip
needles.
of whatever the fuck is in this cup.
So pine tar is
Yeah.
really foul tasting.
Yeah, Corzin will take one
Yep.
tiny pine needle and just sort of nibble
You
on
see, Fighter takes
No,
3.
definitely
Yeah,
worse.
you've had worse, but not by that much. And you take a good sip of, that's brown vinegar.
it. Okay.
Now, Robbie's drunk vinegar, so that's
And
fine.
you sort of, you see Fighty slightly fight to struggle to swallow it. So, where have you come from?
Well, it's been quite an exciting
Far
week,
away from
actually.
here.
We were on a ship, but it crashed, unfortunately.
Such disasters. How delicious. Tell me more.
Well, we were in a battle with 2 other ships, and it went really well for a while, actually. And
There was a
there was a
princess.
princess.
Princess and
All
a
good
shipwreck.
stories have princesses.
Next you'll be telling me there were twins.
Sadly, no twins, unfortunately.
No, but there was a jealous relative.
There was
Jealous
a-
who wanted to
relative.
steal her
We
throne.
wanted her back, but we wanted to take her for ourselves.
Well, he wanted her dead.
True, he did want her dead. And in fact, he wanted her so dead that he actually shot through
He blew
his
her
own
up.
ship that he was friends with to get to us. It was all very exciting.
Well, the heart wants what it wants, and sometimes what it wants is murder. That's all right. Please do eat, drink up. Do you enjoy the band?
Yes, they're very good. I'm something of a musician myself. I appreciate.
Really? Would you care to give us a tune?
Yeah, all right.
All right. Silence! The music stops.
Oh, I'm going to regret this. Celeste, I know
everyone's
that I'm
turning
losing it, but Celestia is absolute poker face, just for the record.
Everyone, all of the various little creatures turn and look to you.
What do I sing? What songs have I done? I'm trying to think what songs I actually...
Something full of murder.
Something
like
cheery,
it.
maybe.
I sing Whiskey Johnny.
Gruesome.
Give him a good
Okay.
resounding chorus of Whiskey Johnny. Hopefully get
Fighty
tankards
stops.
banging on the table.
Fighty joins in. Give me a performance check.
Oh God, this better be
join in
fucking
a-
good.
If this is one we know, can we join
Yeah,
in?
it's just
Yeah.
like, I drink
Does
that give me
where I
advantage?
can. Yes, you can have advantage.
Oh,
of
that's
this.
good.
Whiskey, Johnny.
Okay, that's a 23.
Okay, after a
Nice.
little awkward first couple of verses, you see one of the fatlings.
I drink whiskey where I can. Whiskey! Johnny! Drink it out of an old tin can. Whiskey for the Johnny!
This is one of those rare moments, listeners, where I really wish we were visual because that was incredible.
One of
And
the-
I wish
That's
Sam and Robbie
like
were here.
nightmare
Oh,
fuel.
God.
Yeah, no, that is my nightmares for
Yeah.
this week.
One of the trees goes in. I drink whiskey where I can.
Oh, he's going to be like 3 verses.
Yeah,
behind.
he's like awkward with the eyes. The little elfin, I should say, rather than elven. So creatures start to join in. The beetle is like.
Incredible. I mean, this is horrifying, but I'm loving it.
Yeah, and you manage to stir up a great tune, enough that they're distracted from the fact you're not eating any of the food beyond the little bits that you've had. You have tasted some.
We did have some.
You have tasted
we all
some.
ate some.
But everyone's they're
I'm quite happily drinking the vinegar.
going to be so
Not
thirsty
all of it,
later.
Remember.
Okay,
Remember that.
so
Okay.
the song finishes, the band picks up again, and the little fatlings come around to start clearing out the plates. And the Amon goes, "So, it seems you've had a very merry sort of adventure. But I must say, although I certainly have seen plenty of your cousins, let's call them," he says, looking to Celestia, "it's been some time since I saw a drow on the surface. What brings you up into the sun?"
Did Fighty say anything about lying?
Fighty did not. Apparently, this is not one of lying is not one of Anwin's rules.
Seeking adventure. It can get a bit dark and dull down there.
Oh, I don't know. I have an old cousin who still gets up to some tricks down there, but
Who
you're
would
right.
that be, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, just between you and me, there's a particularly nasty white scorpion that lives down in those parts, and little dearest old Katiklikak likes to hold his own little host down there of revellers.
If I ever run into him, I shall give him your regards.
Please do. I think that would be wildly entertaining. But yes, I don't know if you're familiar with the ways of your surface-dwelling arboreal cousins.
Potentially not, actually. I'm not that well travelled.
Ah, well then, you will enjoy the main piece of our feast tonight, as there is something of a cultural exchange in place. We will get to taste a little bit of wood elf cuisine. And he gestures with his fingers.
Fucking human
and
flesh, oh god!
Rising out
Ooh.
of the flames, you can see, which has been hidden by the flames, but turning on a spit, is the body of a roasted female wood elf.
Oh.
And the fatlings come up with long carving knives and begin carving out pieces of the flesh, taking the bones, neatly stacking them to one side. You watch as they take away your goblets and refill them with fresh blood. Yeah, just fresh blood.
Just full on blood. Right, cool.
Yep.
Well, at least it's fresh.
Yeah, it's not congealing. So
Yeah, you get skin over the top
Yeah.
of it.
Oh my god, like
no,
custard.
no!
Oh, fucking... Jesus, Sam.
Why would you do that?
I wish.
I just ruined rice pudding for you, I'm sorry.
I wish I couldn't confirm from personal experience. That's totally what happens when you get pooling
It sounds
blood.
so scary out of context.
It was.
Jason has not killed people.
I have not killed people.
He had a friend who was injured and he had to deal
Yeah.
with it once. It was bad.
Yeah.
She's fine now.
She's
for the
fine now.
record.
Everything's fine. But let me tell you, mopping blood is not a pleasant experience.
No.
Anyway, moving back to the blood you guys have in your. It's warm blood. It's like mulled wine. You can smell.
No!
You can smell
Stop
spices.
saying things I like! Stop ruining things I like!
Okay.
And you are a small portion of wood elf flesh is placed on the feet still kind of like you think it's leg. There's like bristly leg hair, crispy on the outside.
Right.
Skin has been included. Is placed before each of
Celestia,
you.
as ever, perfect poker face. Just picks up the goblet of blood.
Yep.
Goes, cheers, and has a sip.
Cheers. Anwin takes his and sort of downs the lot, and when he turns and starts smiling as he speaks again, his teeth are just crimson now.
Yeah, I have a bit of leg while I'm at it.
Yeah.
Okay, Corzin is going to attempt to, like, you know when you put a drinking vessel up to your face, tip it, and then don't actually take any into your mouth.
Okay.
Oh, they're
he's
so
going
gonna
to
know.
Roll me a deception check.
Okay. Deception. Where's that? Oh, yeah, there we go. 8.
How about you, Scamp?
I'm sort of watching to see what the consequences of Corzin's actions are.
Okay, you see.
Because even my passive perception's higher than that.
You see Anwin.
After having done that, he'll go and like try and cut off the tiniest, merest, minusculest portion of the flesh in front of him and put it in his mouth.
I assume I see him
Yeah.
fake drinking.
Yeah. Everyone does.
I kick him under the table and give him a look.
I'm gonna drink some of the blood.
And the flesh.
And then do the same, the tiniest amount
Okay.
possible.
You both cut a tiny shred of just like a little bit of hair and meat and.
The vegetarian in me is just not
So
feeling
sorry.
well.
Yeah.
What is what is Fighty doing?
Fighty pretty much does the same. Just takes a small amount of the skin and hair, rolls it up into like a tiny little fleshy spring roll.
Good lord.
Stop saying things I like!
Chews on it for a bit.
You're ruining all
You're literally
food!
ruining everything you could ever eat.
Okay, yeah. When after in between the moment when you pretend to eat it and when you actually take a bit of actual flesh into your mouth, do you swallow? Corzin.
You never ask a lady that.
Corzin particularly.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. It's really late at night.
Okay, Corzin is going to, like, almost like dry swallowing a pill. He's just going to try and knock the tiny morsel back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of
keep
it as
it
quickly
down.
as possible.
He'll have a assuming that does go down, he will then follow it with some blood.
Okay. Before you swallow, you just feel a tingling at the base of your spine, but when you swallow, it goes away. And just reaching back and touching your sort of coccyx type area with one hand, you definitely feel a tail receding back into your body.
Oh god.
Can I grow 2 tails? Is it worth me trying just to find out? No, it's
It'd be
not.
horrifying, it'd be great.
What type of tail was it? Was it like a pig-like tail?
Felt like a pigtail.
Right. Okay, Corzin is going to be like 1,000 yards staring into the centre of the table.
Anwin sort of just licks his teeth clean. And while quite heartily eating his chunk of he gets the best part, so he gets some he gets a bit of face. He's just snipping bits of that off with his needle teeth as he is talking. I always do enjoy these cultural sorts of dishes. You know, we eat so richly here every night.
I can imagine. It's a nice place you've got here.
It's nice to have an inexhaustible supply. Still, though. I don't know about you, but I think I'm in the mood for dessert. Come, clear that away, fatkins. And the fatkins do move. Everyone has now, or at least all of the fairies have now completely eaten all of the flesh from the wood elf. The bones have been neatly stacked up into a pile, however, and are bound up in some cloth and taken away by the fatlings. No bone was served during the meal. The fatlings do re-emerge with of all things, a 4-tiered cake. It's just this beautiful, huge cake with white icing, blue and pink alternating rings of icing around the, when you what's that dressing you do where you do like the little squidges on the outside where you line.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, and I can't think what it's called. Is it like royal icing? No, it's a thing, isn't it?
That's a type of
icing. Type of icing. Like piping?
Piping, yes.
Yeah,
there's
piping
beautiful blue and red piping around the outside, leading up to the top. And the fatlings proceed to take they roll it up to Anwin, who takes a silvery knife and cuts out the first 5 slices, taking the first for himself, but then serving each of you in turn. In the inside of the cake is not cake, or rather, it is a cake. It is a cake of baked grubs and worms, thickly coated with honey to kind of keep them wedged together.
Oh wow!
And then cooked.
Fine.
And you are poured clear liquid into each of your goblets.
I have a bit of cake.
It's meaty but sweet. It's actually probably one of the better things you've had this meal.
Again, I raise my glass to Anwin and have a sip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sniff the clear liquid in my glass.
Smells acrid as you take a sip. Okay, yeah, that is chili water.
Chili water.
That is like someone took the essence of chilies and mixed it in with just enough water to be drinkable.
I'm going to do a con
well,
save
at
to see
least
if I
I'll
can
get
cough.
rid of the taste of the blood.
10? Do I cough?
I drink too much quickly. I swear loudly and infernal, but I drink it.
So, you have eaten my food, you have drunk my drinks, we shall say. Do you have anything you would like to say? Perhaps something you'd like to ask?
Well, we were wondering if there might be any circumstances in which you could please let us use your gate. I've heard you have quite a nice one.
Why, yes, I do, and no doubt your gnomish friend made you aware of that. Tell me, do you have any special skills? He says, looking fighty up and down. I'm a tailor. Really? And his grin spreads too wide for his mouth.
No.
Well, I know what I shall ask of you. I don't suppose any of the 3 of you are tailors?
Afraid not.
Well, no.
I can sing, but sewing's not very good.
Well, perhaps I will... That's all right. I know what I could ask of you. But we shall get to the tasks, the 3 tasks, favours, let's say, that I would ask of you before I grant you this favour. In the morning, you must be tired. And I'm sure we have beds prepared. He looks over at the fatlings. That... I think that's a yes.
I could turn in. How are you two feeling?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
It's been a
long journey.
It's very kind.
Art it has. Please, the fatlings will lead you to your rooms. Don't worry, we'll clean your clothes and press them for you in the morning, by the time morning comes. And each of you are stood up and led over by these 4 differently coloured fatlings. The one is purple. That one leads you, Celestia.
Oh God, so weird.
One is green, leading you, Corzin. One is pink, leading you, Scamp. And one is red, leading Fighty. And you're all led off to the sides of this hall, and you can see that there are kind of sleeping chambers beyond, but but you're led past. You can see actually after this feast, a lot of the little fairies are now just bringing up long furs and bedding and snuggling up near the huge hearth. But you get your own rooms, and each of you is led to a separate room. Celestia, you are led to a room, and opening it, the fatling shows you a dark room with a single candle burning, hung from the roof, which is a pile of hay. Several pigs are wallowing around in the mud.
Lovely.
Sleep well.
Thank you.
You awkwardly step in. It closes the door behind you with a slam.
I sleep, I guess.
I've slept worse places.
Scamp, you are shown to a room where, when the fatling opens the room, there is a stone room within, most of which is taken up by a bed of gently smouldering coals.
Fine.
Yeah, they would do 1 damage per minute, halved to 0 for you, so it's just very uncomfortable. And Corzin, you are shown to a tiny drawer, which the fatling pulls out, full of silk pillows. It's just big enough to fit you.
Okay, he looks sort of suspiciously at it, goes up to it and sort of gently presses down on the pillows and the
It's
bedding.
really comfortable until the fatling pushes the drawer in.
Oh, so I'm in a tiny little...
Like coffined, yeah.
It's really comfortable, apart from the claustrophobia if you have it.
I don't think Corzin does.
Yeah, probably wouldn't.
We've actually had this conversation.
Yeah, you
I
don't.
remember saying
It's
you're quite good in
just
small spaces.
still kind of cramped.
And super patronising.
So patronising. That's so awful.
Corzin is going to take his tricorn off and put it on the top of the bit where the drawer slides in. So it's like if the drawer's in, it just looks like a dresser drawer with a tricorn on it.
Okay. You descend into your deeply uncomfortable slumbers.
Am I actually able to open it from the inside? I would definitely test that.
Give me an athletics check.
Okay. That's a 14.
You open it just a tiny crack, enough to get some light in.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I didn't want to feel like I was trapped in there, but yeah.
Okay. You descend into slumber. Celestia, you find yourself chased around hallways, dreaming of chains and whips, chains strung together like the web of some vast spider. Pretty standard fare, unfortunately. Other elements as well recurring from throughout your life. Corzin, you find yourself dreaming again of trudging through a waterlogged ruin of a city, searching for someone, at once hoping that you will find him and that you, through the course of this dream, you never will. Scamp, you dream of standing before a mirror, seeing yourself lit in silvery light, and the mirror shattering into 7 pieces. You pick up one, then another, and the dream fades. When morning comes, each of you find that the place you have slept has transformed into a wide open room with bay windows letting light in. You are sleeping in beautiful feather-stuffed 4-poster beds carved from rich wood, with ample space, especially ample for Corzin. You've also been stripped down to your underwears.
Creepy.
So for each of you, you've all got a piece of appropriate underwear, and this being the period, they're all pretty long john type things. They're fairly covering. You know, none of you have woken up in the nuddy, as it were. I mean, you don't know about Fighty, but apart from Fighty, you've all woken up with something fairly long. And there is a note next to each of your beds saying, "Clothes taken to be cleaned. Please accept these lovely gifts." And 3 sets of clothes have been laid out in front of you. Well, sorry, 1 set for each of you.
If
Scamp.
Fighty's there, I'm going to say Fighty.
Yeah, Fighty's off in his own room.
Yeah, we've got separate rooms.
These separate rooms. Scamp.
Oh, okay, right.
You find yourself presented with a ridiculously heavy suit of full plate armour, sculpted to look like a goat demon in steel.
Fucking hell.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I can't move at all. I love it.
Suffice to say, you have disadvantage on a lot of checks while wearing this.
Everything. Yeah.
Celestia,
I'm wearing this forever.
you find a severe nun's habit in deep red, made entirely of itchy horsehair.
Yeah.
Corzin, you find, perfectly sized for you, a midnight blue leather gimp suit with matching hood and cloak.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's adoring. Excellent, right?
And
Does it have like a headpiece?
yes, it does. It does. It totally has one of those hoods which obscures the upper half of your face, but leaves your jaw and mouth exposed.
Oh god.
It's kind of like an executioner's hood.
Oh god.
And who puts their clothes on?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
No, it's already on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's happened.
Immediately.
Corzin?
Without hesitation.
Coulson is going to look around.
There is a full-length mirror in each room, by the way.
If there is a door to this room, he is going to briefly open it and just poke his head around the outside.
It seems to be the corridor where this chest of drawers were, except instead of the chest of drawers, there's just a door leading into your lovely room.
So he's going to take a second, look up into the sky and go, if there's anyone scrying on me, I'm sure you're having a good old fucking laugh.
You have no idea.
Obviously not.
Every now and again,
You've been a
I will-
nun before.
True. God, if anyone
much of the
scribed
rest of
during
this
that
gift
time,
suit
that'd be
is there,
fucking
other than
confusing,
the-
wouldn't it? Sorry, what were you saying?
How much of the rest of this gimp suit is there other than the headpiece?
Okay, so you have the executioner's hood style headpiece, which connects on to the long flowing blue leather cape. There is one of those. So there are some leather braces of the type which aren't like full armor braces. They're just like the basic skeleton types. There is one of those chest pieces with the steel ring in the center, and then the blue midnight blue leather belts connecting to it.
I am fucking buzzing for any fan art of this.
Stretching out. They also connect to a midnight blue cod piece. It's actually part of a full sort of underwear type set. There is a zip on the front of it. Actually, it wouldn't be a zip, it would be buttons, because zips haven't been invented yet.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a pair of midnight blue jack boots to go with it.
Corzin is just going to stare at it for a few moments. And, well, if he's still in his underwear, he's going to just carefully take the gimp suit and just fold it over his arm and walk around like, nope, I'm not actually wearing this. I'll have it with me. But even just in his underwear, he has so much more dignity than if he were wearing this gimp suit. It's like, I can walk around like this all day if I have to.
Okay.
Ooh, you're gonna pay for that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to get a tail. That's one of the rules. You wear what they give you.
So.
All right. No, what he's going to do actually is he'll take one of the cuff pieces and he'll put that around his wrist.
Okay, you have a cuff piece on one wrist. That's enough to satisfy the rules. So, walking out with four of you step out. You see Fighty is dressed in an incredibly dull, just plain grey tunic and trousers. No accoutrements, nothing else.
Is that the autumn fashion then?
Well, we've all got sacrifices to put up with. He looks around and the three of you
mighty
halls.
demon!
Clank, clank.
I look at Scamp, darling. You look fucking amazing. I'm not gonna lie. You look so good. Corzin, what did you get given?
Something that.
What is that? I look at the thing over his arm. I'm gonna try and get it off him and look at it.
Okay.
He lets an opposed athletic. Oh, okay, never mind. You just grab it.
It's like,
Fear the mighty demon!
Oh, fucking hell. Why on earth didn't you wear this? You'd look lovely.
Let's stay here forever!
Why are you a gimp and I'm a nun? This doesn't seem fair at all. You get to have all the fun. I throw it back at him.
he catches it and says, well, seems like whatever they've given us has been nicely ironic, at least to their twisted sense of humour.
Yeah.
Though one wonders, how did they know?
Yeah, I hate that. Let's not... Oh, yeah. They...
Clank, clank, clank. As you, as the four of you head out into the main hall, you can see that the tables have been laid out for breakfast. And as you sit down to actually a surprisingly pleasant breakfast of fruits, milk, and honey, you prepare to discuss with Anwin.
No cake.
No cake this morning.
Question, does Corzin still have his tricorn, or was that taken away?
You did put it outside the drawer, so you do find it hanging on the doorknob. Actually, yeah.
Right, he puts it on.
Okay.
So he's stood there
fucking half naked in a tricorn.
Well, no, he stood there in whatever the period appropriate underwear would have been, bare-chested.
You probably have a set of elk hide along with John's that.
Yeah, that probably goes for all of us, actually, doesn't it?
That Fighty would have made, or something of that ilk. But yeah, you basically have Corzin, you have long johns. You've Scamp wake up in sort of this in the collection in sort of like a loose undershirt and shorts type thing.
I want long johns.
And long johns.
I'm going to talk to Fighty.
But as you settle down to a surprisingly pleasant breakfast of fruits, milk, and honey, no cake, you prepare to discuss with Anwen the details of your first task. And that is where we will pick up next time. Ooh. So thank you all very much for listening. Thank you all very much for playing. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s.
Though you can't tell your friend from foe, with fiery breath we'll overthrow.
Your pack's too small, there's too much loot. You may still get a gift gimp suit.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.